This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
When protecting your family is your priority, there's nothing more important than a roof above the people you love. Call Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com, 954-735-9826 or 954-394-1411 and ask to speak to Tommy, the owner. They specialize in all kinds of roofs, led by their highly crafted, skilled, and professional roof mechanics. All of their previous customers have an opportunity to enter their bi-weekly drawings to receive free an exterior impact metal door. Please call for more details. That's Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com, 954-735-9826 or 954-394-1411. Trust Tommy to fortify and protect what's most important to you, your family.
Oh, great. You have a doorbell camera. Now you have a front row seat to your house getting robbed.
They're breaking into my house!
Ooh, there goes the TV. I'm sure it'll turn up at the pawn shop.
No, not the TV!
Just because you can see them, that doesn't mean you can stop them. With Slogans, you get 24-hour monitoring, a free home security system, and professional installation. Plus, free doorbell camera, one that'll actually work for you.
Get out of my house! Get out of the house!
Call 1-800-ALARM-ME.
This is the Big O Show.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends.
It's the Big O Show. You're tuned in to the hottest sports radio.
When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547.
Orlando, AK aka the Big O. He covers all the South Florida teams.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
Dolphins to the Heat, well, you know what I mean. Monday to Friday, Fly Pablo in the...
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
Show O's on the radio, the top's where we gonna go, Miami, that's the way we roll.
Folks, you can support the hardest working sports talk show in South Florida through Cash App or Venmo. Just search Cash Big O Show. Support us through Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show. We thank you for your incredible support.
On the morning show, Big O, no one has a similar show. Talk sports, talk plays, talk...
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
Live and direct, because nobody do it better than Big O in the set. From sunrise, listen live.
When you're ready to purchase a new home or refinance the one you have, American Dream Lending will make sure your loan experience is easy with fast approvals and quick closings. With many loan programs and competitive rates, now is the time to turn your dreams into reality. Ask about special financing for veterans. They never charge an application fee, and you will work directly with one of their experienced loan professionals. Stop dreaming and contact American Dream Lending today, 786-802-1727, or online at adreamlending.com. The viewing statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
The Big O Radio Show is brought to you by HialeahParkCasino.com. Enjoy simulcast racing, dining, a magnificent poker room, and a casino with the most popular machines on the market. OKCoin.com. Download the app on iOS, Google Play, or Windows. OKCoin.com with over 50 different coins and incredible staking rewards. Pallet Rack City. There's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547.
The Big O Radio Show originates from the OK Coin Studios. Invest a little time and save big. Just set the recurring buy and pay, zero transaction fee after your first purchase. The Big O Radio Show is mastered by executive producer Sean Stanley from the OK Coin Studios. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Welcome aboard. Ready to rock and roll here on a beautiful Monday. Hope you all are doing well out there. Sean Stanley mastering the program. Thank you all, as always, for chiming in and supporting us like you do every single day here on the show. We got a loaded one for you. It gets more and more loaded every week here on the program and harder to balance everything out. But Ira will be on with us at 10:30. Alan Poupart will be on at 11:30. Joe Shad at 12. And Marcel Louis Jacques will join us at 1 o'clock. So you will have plenty of stuff to talk about with the Heat, with the Dolphins, obviously, Panthers over the weekend. Last night, they came up short against the Los Angeles Kings, which sucked that they lost in the shootout there. But, hey, still pick up a point. Boys are still doing very, very well overall. So we get into a little Heat talk some Panthers. Free agency is about to start officially. It starts on Wednesday at 4 o'clock. But, the stuff is going to start trickling in now at this point. So, we already got the Ryan Jensen news, which, as you all know, Ryan was one of those guys that I wanted badly for the Miami Dolphins. I thought that one would be pretty good. That would make a lot of sense to bring a guy like Ryan Jensen here to be the center for the Miami Dolphins. And for Tua, obviously, he needs a center. But unfortunately, that's not going to be the case, ladies and gentlemen. They're not going to get Ryan Jensen because he agreed to a 3-year, $39 million extension with the Bucs after Brady announced that he returned. We got to talk about that. So we got a bunch of things. And as news starts coming in and trickling in about agreements that are in place, we will pass them on to you as always. So we will definitely forward that to you out there as everything works. Let's see what else we got. We got the chat board going, and I had an interesting situation over the weekend on the chat board, which I had no idea Dougie Fresh was blocked. I didn't do it, by the way. It was Sean has to take the heat for it, not me. Apparently, he must have been blocking someone and then blocked.
No. It was 100% my fault. I want to 100% apologize to Dougie. When I block the webcams, I highlight it. And if somebody sends in a chat and pushes it up, whoever ends up falling in that highlight. So now I've made a note. Every other day I will go through and make sure this does not happen again. 100% heartfelt apology, Dougie. I 100% apologize.
Yeah, because he sent me a DM last night. I'm like, I saw a DM last night. I felt terrible. I was like, yo, man, you're like family. You're good. So we would never ban Dougie. I mean, that's ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's like, he was like, I don't know why I got banned. I mean, if that's your decision, that's fine. He was like really cordial about it and everything, which he should be pissed because, Dougie's a stud, bro. He's awesome. He's good people. We only end up, blocking the idiots that want to be trolls and want to dominate the chat board, want to be rude. Those kind of people we just get rid of, and we don't need them here. But I felt bad for Doug, like he felt he wasn't wanted, and that's not the kind of feeling I ever want to give anybody, especially people that we do love and have nothing but respect for. So I'm glad that Sean was able to fix Doug there, and I don't know if he's even on or watching or whatever, but whatever.
Can we throw one more thing out there? If you feel like you've been blocked, please just jump on the DMs, hit me up at Sean_Stanley11, hit Big O up, and let us know if you don't see your chats coming up or something like that. Please, I want to make sure this does not happen again. One time is too many, and I want to make sure it does not happen again.
Yes, well, I mean, if it's like, was it Barney or something that we don't regret. We have no regrets.
Oh, no, but I mean, blocking doesn't deserve to be blocked. That should not happen.
Exactly. I just wanted to kind of reiterate that there are idiots that do deserve to get blocked. I mean, so I'm just saying. So there are some of you that do need to get banned, and it's just you're really not adding anything to the show. So just in case. So Dougie, my apologies, even though I didn't block you at all. It was all Sean, but still I apologize because we screwed up and we accidentally did something we shouldn't have done, my brother. So there we go. It is fixed for Dougie Fresh. All right. So what else do we have going on? All right. So Tom Brady announces his return. And remember that video came out a couple days ago with him and Cristiano Ronaldo. And they're standing on the pitch. And he's kind of like, so you're done. And and he had like, well, yeah. And so that thing went viral. And there's been some talk about it. And I got to tell you something. I didn't really think he would come back. I thought Tom Brady was the guy that would say, I'm done, I'm done. You know what I mean? I thought he would be like that. You know, there are a few of those guys that have said, I'm out of here, and they left. You know what I mean? They were done. And I thought that, when he said goodbye, it was really goodbye. I thought maybe others were trying to keep it alive and hopeful and all that kind of stuff. He played at a very high level last year, so it's not like he looked like Drew Brees in his last season. He didn't look like Marino in his last year. He didn't look like Joe Namath in his, and all of those kind of things that you saw guys literally, Ben Roethlisberger, they're falling off the cliff. You didn't see that from Tom Brady last year. So I think that's why a lot of the others kind of, felt hopeful about it, or at least were holding out hope. And so sure enough, the guy decides he wants to come back for another season. And now you're not going to have the exodus that you probably were going to have in Tampa. And he's smart too, because he did it before free agency. Leonard Fournette, by the way, has pulled off his Instagram page the Goodbye Tampa post that he had. So Leonard Fournette is another guy that, when the GOAT signs, it changes everything for everybody else. So on that team, certain guys are going to want to come back now, like Ryan Jensen. Although I am saying this to myself, I'm going, wait a minute, if he's coming back for one more year and you're going to sign for 3, you don't know what's next. That kind of stuff. And then the question is, will they be able to re-sign everyone they need? Right? And here's the thing that you got to think about. I mean, it's not something I worry about because I don't have anything against the Bucs or anything, or against Brady personally. He's not playing for the Patriots anymore. But you do have to worry a little bit about, well, what about if this is the year it does fall apart for him? What about if this is the year that becomes the long year? What happens if this is the year that Father Time comes knocking? And all of a sudden now, you've been ironclad like Alarmo here every single day, protecting your home there at Sloman's. And now you're no longer that force. And that's the roll of the dice right now for Tom Brady. Every year he decides to come back, because you don't know when you're going to look like Muhammad Ali. You don't know when you're going to look like Sugar Ray Leonard. You just don't know when you're going to look like Eric Gagne. And you're on the mound and you no longer have the gas anymore. And now when you're going to the mound, you're dragging that can to the mound because you're out of gas, because you no longer have that arm. And those are things that I've watched in the history of my life happen to many players. They don't know when to quit and when to walk away on top. John Elway was the greatest ever to do it. He won back-to-back Super Bowls and walked the hell right out and never said anything again. It's the greatest way to walk out, is with a championship. And Tom Brady could have walked out with a championship 2 years ago, came back, and now did not get back to the championship game, did not win it. And so now you start looking at that whole situation and you say, okay, so is Tampa going to be good enough? Or is this the year that the arm stops working the way it used to? It's going to happen at one point or another. You know what I mean? We all look at him because, he's the GOAT and the guy's won 8,000 championships and all this and all that. But in the end, Father Time. And so you don't know. Physically right now, he feels good. But you just can't tell when it's coming. And when it gets there, oh, Lordy, it's over. It's over. You're Vince Neil. You're on stage and you can't sing anymore. You're David Lee Roth and you lost that sound. Because I could never call him a great singer, but he had a sound. Doesn't matter what walk of life we're talking about, man. Okay? At one point or another, we all lose it. We all get too old to do what we normally do. And I don't care if you're in a mine. I don't care if you're a football player, a politician, you name it. Okay? There's a layup there that I just I avoided, but anyway, whatever. You know, I just want that. Yeah, it's my mind. It's twisted. It goes in all kinds of directions. But I got to say it. Well, I'll say it anyways. What the hell? We voted for a guy that's in office right now. It looks like he lost his fastball years ago. In other words, Tom Brady could look like Biden this year. Okay. That's all I'm saying. Okay. He could look like he moves really slow, So I'm just saying, be careful. Be careful, Brady. You could become Brandon. I'm just saying. Just saying. All right. So we'll see what happens with Brady this year. We'll see if it becomes even more depressing for him this year and that he starts to regret him coming back. I've watched this a lot over my lifetime. I've watched these men hang on to their careers a little too long. What woman hung on to her career a little too long? Steffi Graf did not, I think. I think she kind of retired at the right time. Trying to remember, is there a female athlete that because it's easy to remember the men. Holy moly. But obviously with women's sports, it's got to be like tennis or something like that because women's basketball is not, and women's soccer is not on the professional level, anything that we really follow on a general basis. Tennis, yes. Is there a female tennis player that hung on too long with her age? And she
Navratilova.
You think Martina? Yeah, Martina did hang on.
But also, that was needed by tennis too for her to hang on that long until somebody else could come along. But
we had Steffi. We had Steffi at that time already. We had Steffi.
Well, she was just making her name though, right?
Yeah. No, when Martina was fading out, Steffi was already like the bomb. And we had Gabriella Sabatini. We had some good ones. We had our girl here. God, what's her name? She's a really good tennis player. Mary Jo Fernandez. We had some really good ones at the back end of Martina's career. You could say maybe Martina. All right. I mean, when it comes to women's sports that are, what's that called? A general thing or a household thing, it's really only women's tennis. Nothing else has come to that level. But Serena, she might be doing it right now. You're right. Barry, that you might be right on that. She might be doing it right now. She might be hanging on a little too long now at this point. You're right. Yeah. It's probably it. That's a good one right there. What else do we have? Carlos says, female politicians have as much as I hate Pelosi. I would say that Maxine Waters is a better example. Pelosi still terrifies me, the Dems, because of her cash machine for the DNC. Well, I saw a Pelosi press conference the other day. Man, it is brutal to listen to. Holy moly. I give her credit because she's still, churning away at her age. But man, as we get older, like there's no way I could do a talk show at that age. I doubt I'll have this kind of fire and enthusiasm and being able to be as quick-witted and energy and things like that. You just lose it, man. We have no choice. We get older, we get slower. And yeah, and some of those press conferences are brutal, dude, to listen to. So yeah, I'm with you there. I thought Chris Everett hung on too long. I agree with you, Harold. I agree with you. That's my favorite tennis player of all time, Chris Everett. And that's a great one. She hung on too long. Yeah, because Chrissy was not an overpowering player. She was a smart player. And then once the Martinez and the Steffies took over, they were too strong for her. You know what I mean? And so she was able to defend herself. It's kind of like a Michael Chang thing. Now I'm getting too deep into tennis talk, which is not really good for any show. But Michael Chang was one of those guys, that had to overcome the power of certain people in his era with his intelligence and athleticism and quickness and all that kind of stuff. And Steffi had to also kind of do that too. I mean, I'm sorry, Chris had to do that too, because tennis was changing and more powerful women were coming in with a game that was different than what Steffi was used to dealing with. I'm sorry, Chris Everett was used to dealing with. So yeah, it kind of changed. But yeah, Chris Everett definitely, I think, might have hung on a little too long. You're right. Big O, I'm ready for the tourney. What's your Final Four look like? Ohio John, I haven't even looked at it, my brother. To be honest with you, I'm not even ready to. Listen, and I'll be and Ohio John. Let me be as brutally honest as I can be. I don't follow college basketball like I used to at all. I follow college basketball in a very half-assed style. Okay, I'll watch the tournament because it's fun to watch, but college basketball for me is a shell of what it used to be. It's not even close. So that's my problem with college basketball nowadays. It's just, you don't even know the players. There's no stars anymore. It's just not it's a different game. It just doesn't attract me anymore. I'll put it this way. I don't believe anybody that was exposed to 90s and before college basketball has the same passion for college basketball now than they did when they were watching in the 70s and the 80s and the 90s. There's no way. Especially the 80s and the 90s. Okay? There's no way you could have the same passion because the game is not even close. What I saw with UNLV and Duke for 2 years, I'll never, ever see again in college basketball. Never. What I saw in the Big East in the 80s, I'll never see it again. Ever. And so that's why I in all honesty, I watch college basketball in a very half-assed way, very casual. I can't tell you I know the teams well. I can't tell you I know the players well. I can't tell you I know the strengths and weaknesses of one opponent or another like I used to. Nope. Can't do it, man. Can't do it. So it's not the same for me anymore. 619, Anna Kournikova. Anna Kournikova was, she was a nice player on her best moments, but she was more of a knockout than she was a tennis player. You know what I mean? She got decent. I mean, she got even top 10 rankings at one point, but Anna Kournikova was never anything that I would worry about for a decline. Okay. I mean, looks maybe did her looks? No, her looks didn't decline either during her game. I'll give her that. Big O, now that the red-haired whale is staying with the Bucks, what Dolphin news do you think would expect to hear today? Well, let me give you a little Dolphin thing that I would love to hear. I don't know about today, but I would love to hear the name Ben Jones. Ben Jones is, I believe he's 30. He is the starting center for the Tennessee Titans. He's a very good player, not a great player, Not a guy that you're going to be paying, top-notch dollar for, but you're going to pay a good price for him. And he could anchor that line for you and settle that center position in a big-time way for the next few years for Tua. And for me, that would be incredibly important for the Miami Dolphins to land a center and settle that position for Tua. As I've told you guys before, you need to strengthen this line. And I know a lot of people have been talking about the tackle positions, specifically Teron Armstead, and others have been talking about certain other, obviously I was one that was leading the Ryan Jensen charge. I wanted that in a big time way. Doesn't look like it's going to happen now that he has agreed to a 3-year, $39 million deal with the Tampa Bay Bucks. But Ben Jones would be a guy that, I'm not keeping up with it right this second. I don't know if he's agreed to a contract extension already with the Titans or not. And I don't know if the Titans are going to be able to bring him back or not, because I know they've got their cap issues also. But Ben Jones, tough guy, experienced, what's it called? Can play in this system. No doubt about it, can play in this system. Would be I think, a perfect selection for the Miami Dolphins to solidify the middle of that line. So if you ask me, okay, now that we've got what's it called? Now that we've got, the answer with Ryan Jensen, what do we do here? You know what I'm saying? So it's cool. It's cool. It's cool that they are still have that option, at least right now, for the Miami Dolphins. So let's see if they take advantage of it or they're going to go in another direction. They've got to sign at least 2 linemen in free agency. That, to me, is a must. Yeah, we could talk about middle linebacker and we could talk about wide receiver. And we could talk about different positions that the Dolphins need. I'm with you on all of that. But I need to see 2 additions to this offensive line in free agency. It's too young, it's too inexperienced, and it needs more leadership and proven leadership. And Ben Jones would be a proven leader, a guy that other guys can lean on and use for leadership purposes, for experience, all of those things. And the guy's played in the conference too. So he knows the conference. He may not be a divisional guy, but he's played in the conference, so he has a good feel for the teams in the conference too. So there's a lot of positives for signing Ben Jones. And he's still at an age where you can get a few years out of him with no problem as long as he stays healthy. And he's been also, by the way, very durable. That's the other thing I like about Ben Jones. See, Teron Armstead is a hell of a player. I know that, but I still worry about him staying healthy. That terrifies me. So if they sign Teron Armstead, I'm going to be happy that they got a hell of a player, but I'm still going to be a little nervous that you may not get what you pay for because the guy does not play enough. And that would be, you're really not getting the job done then. You didn't resolve the problem. The player's not getting the job done and the front office failed. So that's the only thing I worry about with Teron Armstead. Not that he can't play, not that Father Time will catch up to him at this point. None of that kind of stuff. I worry more about the fact that he can't stay healthy. And you've got to pay that man a lot of money. So that's where, it kind of gets a little tricky, as they say. Let's see, what else do we have here? Andrew Whitworth is 40 and still playing. I'm not worried about Jones being 33. No, you could still get a couple years out of him. He's been a solid player. So I think it's one of those options where, and let me tell you something. The center for Boston College, the reviews aren't necessarily as glowing as people would make it out to be at the next level. Just so you know, because I know they've got his coach here. And so a lot of people have assumed, well, You don't get that. They'll get his center at Boston College. And there are some that aren't necessarily convinced with him. Just so you'll know. Don't be, don't make it look like it's an obvious thing that's the guy they're going to lean on. Don't forget, you can reach out to us on the Welton Rayon text line, 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056. As always, you could chime in on the YouTube chat board there. Yahoo email, Big O Radio Show at yahoo.com. Twitter, Big O Show. Always on Twitter. You can follow us there 24 hours a day. That talk show is always going on. Daniel Grafton, thank you for a little love on the super chat. Appreciate you. Formiga played in 7 World Cups and 7 Olympics. Okay. Why are we talking about that? I'm not exactly sure. I don't know what that means. Daniel, you just threw like a curveball at me. Pablo says, Big O, the Finns need more than 1 O lineman. I think we need at least 2. That's what I said. I said 2. I agree with Armstead. He has issues staying healthy. That's the one thing that I get the player, but man. What else do we have? Let's see. Leo Collins plays right tackle. Armstead plays left tackle. Yeah, but Leo Collins, man, as I told you guys last week, there's a lot of baggage there. I would be a little concerned about that one. I would. Panthers last night lost to the Kings in a shootout 3-2. They will have San Jose on Tuesday, 10:30. So this is the damn week where you go out on the West Coast. Your basketball or hockey team goes out on the West Coast. And you, the fan, has to stay up late as hell. And you got them bags because you're watching the Panthers or the Heat on a West Coast swing. And then you got to wake up in the morning and go to work. It's crazy, man. Anyway, the Heat on Saturday ended up losing to the T-Wolves, dude. 113-104. Ira Winderman's going to join us here at the bottom of the hour. We're going to talk to him. We'll talk all things Miami Heat. Friday, they got the Cavs at least, so that was good. So they will take on the Pistons on Tuesday at FTX Arena. They're still number 1 in the Eastern Conference, so it's all good in the hood, as they say. So you don't have to worry. No need to panic. You're 45-24. 45-24. It's like it sucks to lose to the Wolves, even though they're playing pretty good basketball, right? But then you go look at the record, and it's like, okay, you're 45-24. I mean, Jesus Christ. What are you going to do, dude? I mean, you're 21 games over 500. It's hard to get mad or frustrated for very long after any loss whatsoever when your record is that good. It's like you're supposed to lose some games. You can't win them all, man. This isn't, the 72 Dolphins running the table and going all the way through or something. It's just impossible. You know what I mean? And obviously no Jimmy Butler and all that other stuff. And some guys didn't play well, but you lose, and then you got to look at the big picture and say, not that big a deal. All right. Ira Winderman will join us next with our Acura Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat, and NBA report.
Heat fans, time for the best insight of your favorite team with insider Ira Winderman, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. It's the Acura of Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
All righty, there he is, the man, the myth, the legend. That is Ira Winderman. And Ira, as you were probably listening there as we were coming in, Saturday night you see him lose, and it's like, look at the record, and it's, I can't sit there and be too mad or frustrated. You can be disappointed that they lost, but in the end, the season's been so phenomenal. It's hard to really get frustrated.
No, and it's what we sort of spoke about last week on both, on our Acura Pembroke Pines reports. You want the tiebreaker game. You want the Eastern Conference game. It meant more. And Orlando, you could see how they prioritize that they played their guys against Cleveland. That game meant more. Minnesota, Jimmy sat. Look, any game where Jimmy Butler or Kyle Lowry or Bam Adebayo doesn't play doesn't matter because the Heat will need all three to be the best version of themselves. And that's what this entire season is predicated on. Actually, throw Tyler Hero in. Let's make it the Fab Four right now. That's who they are this season. They're not a big three. So I throw out all the other results. Minnesota is playing very well. One of the hottest teams, if not the hottest team in the Western Conference right now. So you take that and you move on. This week, hey, it opens up for you. 2 games over 8 days. You have the Pistons on Tuesday, the Thunder on Friday. Same thing. Pistons game means more. Eastern Conference game, even though they're not in the playoff race with you. You prioritize accordingly. You get guys needed rest. At some point, Eric Spoelstra mentioned to us, PJ Tucker at 36 will get his break. And you look to what's next. And the ongoing debate that Orlando Alzagari, overlord of all things Big O show, and I will debate, is I am still scared. I'm going to say crapless. It's your show. You can say whatever word you want of the Brooklyn Nets in the first round, because that would be a crappy thing for them to have to face opening the playoffs.
I get that. You know, I'm not that. I'm more concerned about the fact that, you know, Duncan Robinson can't get any consistency whatsoever, and he really is not. He can't be counted on anymore. Actually, that's the way I got to look at Duncan Robinson.
I would debate you and say
I have
he can be
no
counted
idea
on.
what the hell we're getting night in and night out.
Yes, he can be counted
when
on
we
every
do play
other
the
game.
Brooklyn Nets, play Max Bruce and play other guys that are going to be more reliable, actually. Okay, I mean that's maybe.
But you know what? You get your read early enough. He was 1 of 5 from 3 and from the field on Saturday night, so you know what's going on. I have no trouble with this situational spot starter. I know people, the starting lineup, those are your best players. You have to have bull crap. It's the end of the game. And
I think it's because they gave him the big money. That's what it is.
And Big O at the end of the game against Minnesota, who was on the floor? Max Strus, not Duncan Robinson. Matter of fact, I'm going to disagree with you, and I think you're looking at it the wrong way. And I understand. You know, we're all simple folks here sometimes.
No, but where you're going, you're right. Actually, I know.
I think it's the defensive end. I think it's the other side of the ball, and I wrote about this in my Ask Ira at SunSentinel.com. It's the what I call the raw meat syndrome. People see, like in those old Bugs Bunny cartoons, the raw piece of steak, and they're salivating. They are switching Duncan Robinson onto every scoring opportunity. Matter of fact, non-scorers become scorers when they see Duncan Robinson. Jordan Noel? Like who the hell was that in Minnesota on Saturday? That's the problem. That's the inherent problem. Now, you can do that if you're playing Tyler Hero, because while he might give up 15, he's giving you 30. But if you have the guy who's giving up 20 and giving you 15, that's the net negative problem, and that's what's going on. Matter of fact, it's been very interesting, Big O. After games, Eric Spoelstra has been effusive, constantly returning to one theme. Stop with the old scatter report with Tyler Hero. He is not as bad defensively as people are making out. He's covering himself in those situations. I can play him late. We don't hear that as much about Duncan Robinson. He's foul prone. We see all the early fouls lately, and we see him sitting at the end. So I agree. To me, there's a threshold. And if you're paying a guy X amount of dollars, he has to also be a closer. Matter of fact, you and I have spoken about this before. Caleb Martin's an impending free agent. You love Caleb Martin. Matter of fact, I'm surprised behind you, you don't have a Caleb Martin fan club poster or something. And I get that. But if he's not going to be top 8 rotation or a closer, you don't overpay. So the fact that Duncan Robinson and his 5-year, $90 million contract is parked on the bench very often at the end of games, that's where I would put the scrutiny, Big O.
Wow. So did the Heat screw up not trading him before the deadline?
No, because it depends what the offers were. So let's be honest here, we don't know what was offered, and it's not like they can't trade him the day after their season ends. Remember, the NBA trading rule is this. As soon as you're eliminated from the playoffs, your team can make trades with any other team eliminated from the playoffs. This is interesting this year. If you want to salary dump, the Heat have a first-round pick that they can trade because of the maneuvering they did with Oklahoma City. I think you'll see the Heat very active around the trading deadline and maybe at the start of free agency. I think that's when they'll get their salary book in order. Because if Victor Oladipo is really good, we hope he is. If Tyler Hero continues to be, I don't think this is overstatement anymore, great, which I think he has certainly been lately, you're going to have to pay both of them in the offseason. You're going to have to pay Caleb Martin in the offseason. You're going to have decisions to make. And you know what? There are teams who don't have Max Strus waiting in the wings or Caleb Martin waiting in the wings, and they could use a Duncan Robinson to make their featured players have better spacing. So did the Heat blow it at February 10th by not trading Duncan Robinson? Hell no. Like you pointed at the opening of your show here at the Accurate Pembroke Pines report. The Heat are 21 games over 500. This is working for now. Long view? Yeah, Big O, I agree. You're going to have to thin out some of the salary because you have to make room for new salary.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. That's why it's just got to, that's why to me, the concern isn't so much the Nets. I'm more, okay, well, and the good thing, at least, here's the best part about it. If there is an issue with Duncan that you can't rely on him and he can't be consistent, the good thing is that, Spoken looked down the bench and he has real options now.
Yes.
So in the past, it's kind of been a shaky, bench, and you don't know who you got and all that. Now he's got multiple options, actually, he can depend on. Because if Caleb isn't hitting it, well, then maybe Strus is. And if Strus isn't hitting it, well, then, maybe Gabe Vincent is, who was kind of off the other night,
and you have
too.
maybe more options than when you signed Duncan to that contract. That's the only point I'm trying to make. Times change, things change. But also, you don't want to sell. You want to get value. The value might be getting rid of the contract. That might be the value in this case. Because this, unlike baseball for the most part, is a salary cap league. You only have X amount of money to fit in under the tax and then under the cap, and you have to make it work. So it's not so much what Duncan isn't, but to your point, Big O, it might be what others are. So if you're sitting down there, and people, this does happen, 601 Biscayne Boulevard, you have Andy Ellisberg, you have Nick Averson, you have Pat Riley, and a lot of people don't know this. On Skype, you have Big O, and he's venting, and they're hitting the mute button and everything like that. But if Big O, and honestly, if people believe that Caleb Martin is more important than Duncan Robinson, they will structure their salary that way, and they will make it work. We did not know when Duncan Robinson was given $90 million over 5 years in August that Caleb Martin would be this. We did not know that Gabe Vincent would start almost half of his appearances this season, but he has. We did not know that Max Strus would be Duncan Robinson 2.0 or Max Strus 1.0. Things change and you adjust, and I think that's what the Heat will do in the offseason. They'll probably mute you a little bit more. You tend to be a little bit loud. But I think if you go in clean shaven now that Pat Riley's got rid of the goatee, maybe they'll listen.
Who grows it faster, Pat or me?
You know what? I've seen you both back and forth, whether I show up with you here on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or I see Pat Riley in the stands. And also, now that he wears the mask at home games, we don't know what the hell's growing under there.
Oh, okay. That's true. Yeah. Because he's got a little Chia Pet in him, too. So.
Oh, he can sprout up with the best of them. Absolutely.
Yeah. I've seen he's got the Chia Pet action going on there. All right. So we look at Tyler, and it is the big four. There's no doubt Tyler is just as important as everybody else on that team. And by the way, he's been maybe more consistent than anybody else, all year long. What has been the key? I know you guys don't get to go in the locker room and really get to talk to guys like you normally would, so you can get some really good stuff from them. But what's the talk about Tyler? Because, man, he is so in tune. It's so impressive to watch the way he is playing right now. He's aggressive and confident right now, and it's really fun to watch.
Confidence and arrogance. And some people might say in some situations that's too much. That's what Tyler needed. Big O, you remember all the rumors. The Heat are going to trade Tyler. Tyler's not good enough. Tyler's not doing enough. I think in his second year, he let that get to him. He let the outside noise, and you and I, to a degree, a part of the outside noise, sort of influence his confidence. And he came into the season with a needed F that approach. I am Tyler frickin' Hero. I came from the Kentucky program. I excelled in the 2020 bubble and almost single-handedly in one game beat the Boston Celtics. No turning back. I ain't listening. And he even came up to us on media day this year and basically said that. I went up to him. I said, hey, Tyler, I never said they should trade you. I just said you were a trade option for them. And to a man, a lot of the people who he felt denigrated him, he said, don't worry, I got this. And he does have this, and he has that confidence. And Big O, one of the really interesting things you and I will do in our Accurate Pembroke Pines reports whenever the offseason comes and our Sloman's Home Security Wednesday shows, with Clay Ferraro is this, and we've done this almost for a calendar year now. Would you trade Tyler Hero for ... And then we come up with names. And it's interesting because you've come around a little. For example, Orlando Alzagari, would you trade Tyler Hero for Bradley Beal?
No.
See, these are the names. Last year there was
2 years ago, yes, we're talking that. Yeah, of course. But
would you
right
trade
now,
him for Brandon? Would you trade him for Brandon Ingram?
no.
Would you trade him for Zion Williamson?
No, hell, please, come on, dude. Come
Okay,
on.
so what I'm saying is these with Orlando Alzagari, like again when he's meeting with the Heat Brain Trust, were
I'll
debate
give Gabe
points.
Vincent for Zion.
How
I'll
nice
do
of
that.
you. How lovely of you. But what I'm saying is you and
I'm a
I were
shooter.
trading Tyler Hero a bunch of places before. Now, that doesn't mean I would blanket say I would not trade him for anyone for this reason. I have Kyle Lowry at 35. I have Jimmy Butler about to turn 33. If I believe there's an absolute in-the-moment player, then I might have to consider that. But that's a pretty damn high-level player now.
Yeah.
That's a veteran player on a team that's stuck in the mud, and I'm not coming out with a LeBron James trade here. I might be coming out with an Anthony Davis trade, but what I'm saying is you could at least consider it. Jake Fisher from Bleacher Report had a story last week that the Heat might have to consider trading Tyler. And again, this comes back to salary structure. Tyler Hero is eligible for the same extension that Bam Adebayo got. Well, if you're going to be paying Tyler Hero $183 million plus over 5 years, you have a salary to work out. It might be no more free agents over the next 5 years. Now, if that's good enough in this year's playoffs, with Jimmy and Bam and Tyler and Kyle, you keep it going. Just like Pat Riley did for 4 years with the big three. He added the Mike Millers, the Shane Battiers, the Ray Allens, the Birdmans, and that's fine. But you have to be confident in your core. If you play the Nets in the first round and lose, I know Big O says that's not going to happen. But for argument's sake, if it does, then I think you have to do the Pat Riley. Everything is on the table. Like you said, this Heat team has always been about the moment and the now and not pushing things off like the Marlins did for a while, like the Panthers did. So, yeah, I do think the playoffs will determine to a degree what comes next.
Well, we will see. I mean, I would not like to trade that kid at this point in time. I get it if you have to trade for a disgruntled superstar that will now obviously take your team to another level and you would have no choice and they need some star quality in return. So then Tyler has to be part of that package.
Would you trade him for Anthony Davis?
No, hell no. Not that sack of injuries. No. I'm talking like Dame Lillard needs out. Okay.
But would you trade him for a 30-year-old Dame Lillard on a maximum scale contract?
Oh, no. I would trade him for what he has left on his contract. What does he have left?
But Dame wants the max next time. That's a lot of the problem.
Yeah, no, because then we're in the same problem. See, the idea why I want to keep Tyler and Bam is because in 2 years they take over for Jimmy and Lowry. Jimmy and Lowry are going to become role players in 2 years. They're not going to be frontline players anymore. It's too much mileage on those bodies. And those contracts will be tradable in the final year because
they don't even have to be. And just to explain, Tyler Hero's rookie scale extension would not start next year. He would play the last year of rookie salary in 2 years. Well, in 2 years, Kyle Lowry will be in the final year of his contract. So that dovetails very nicely. Tyler starts. Kyle ends. Bye, Kyle. Thanks for 3 years of service. I'm already getting rid of him 1 year in. And you move forward. So I agree with that. If Pat Riley is willing to take a longer view, I don't know at this point if he is. I hope he is. I always thought that Pat Riley had the long-term future of this franchise in mind, no matter when he would step aside anyway. Probably the Arisons are making sure that's going to happen. But that's another part of the equation. But again, there are finite salary cap and luxury tax dollars that you have to deal with as well. This is not the Lakers with their television contract. This is not the Knicks with their TV deal. It is a bit different down here. No, it's not a small market team, but it's certainly not a biggest market team either.
All right, what are you working on in the Sun Sentinel so folks can check you out, my friend?
A couple of things. I'm working on Eric Spoelstra's story about how public-facing he's saying the number one seed is a priority because we're the Miami Heat and we always play to win. Unless it's the end of the 2008 season when they play 5 guys 48 minutes in Philadelphia. And I think there's a subtext there. He's saying that, but he's still going to rest players. I do think he will keep an eye on matchups and should do that as well. So I think these final 3+ weeks of the season are going to be a little bit interesting to see how it plays out. I don't think it matters where the Heat finish. And I know you're going to tell, the old saw, well, you got to beat everyone, anyway to get to the NBA Finals. But
I think you want to stay at number one.
Excuse me?
I think you want to stay because Brooklyn's going to win their play-in game. They'll be number 7, and so you won't run into
Brooklyn's play-in game is in Toronto, where Kyrie's not allowed to play. And because of the Major League Baseball guidance that said unvaccinated players cannot go to Toronto, are you still as confident with no Kyrie and whatever the hell Ben Simmons might be in Toronto, one game winner take all?
I think they can still win it.
But now you're hedging a little bit to Big O.
It's not a sure thing. You're right. It's not sure.
I think what every Heat fan should be rooting for. I think what every Heat fan should be rooting for is this: for somehow if Brooklyn can get to number 6, they're 3.5 games behind now. They are leading the season series with Cleveland 2-1. There's 1 game remaining in that season, the final weekend of the season. I think that's where you're looking. The more Cleveland loses, and the more that the Nets can win, get them to 3. Have Milwaukee, have Philadelphia start against them. I think that would be perfect world if you can get Brooklyn to number 6 and have the number 3 team play them instead.
All right. Follow them on Twitter
on
at Ira Heatbeat, and more importantly, support them there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel and subscribe like I do, and support our local journalists as always. Ira, thank you, sir. We will catch up on Wednesday with our Slowmans Inside the Paint.
With some hard-hitting stuff, and I got some interesting stuff. I will be talking to Clay Ferraro about that then, so tune in, folks.
You got it, baby. There we go.
Thanks, Big O.
All right, that is Ira Winderman and our Acura Pembroke Pines Miami Heat report.
You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines Miami Heat and NBA report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals from the #1 volume Acura sales dealership in the Southeast United States, you go to Craig's Inn Acura of Pembroke Pines at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
All righty. All right, folks, you want to get in on the Welt and Rayom text line? We will read your text here in a minute. 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056. Slot receiver Isaiah McKenzie does a 2-year deal, $4.4 million deal with the Bills. And Mitch Morse gets a 3-year, $28 million deal, 11.5 due this year and 12 million guaranteed. So deals are starting to come in, and people are agreeing to deals. The Falcons struck a 3-year, $55 million extension with Jake Matthews. So he is staying there. We got Devontae Parker telling the Packers he will not play on the franchise tag. That's we'll see if that really happens and he really sticks to his guns. Listen, fans at times can get ridiculous. Okay? And they start creating shit that doesn't exist. And for you, Big D, I saw this while I was talking to Ira, and I text you back. He puts, the front office needs to stop this Watson crap once and for all. The crap keeps coming up and keep the Watson ears going crazy. Big D, you're part of the idiots. That's it, bro. The front office already said Tua's their guy. They're moving forward. I don't know if you're hard of hearing, dude, but they already said it. Tua's their guy, and they closed the door on Watson. Just because you're hearing other people in print or in radio or in TV talk about it, the front office doesn't have to do jack shit, dude. Okay? The front office said it already. They're committed to Tua. It's over. They don't need to appease your sorry ass because you're coming out now making shit up that the Dolphins have to actually stand up and say something. They already said it. You're the idiot falling for the people on radio or on print or on television stirring it up. They're the ones talking about Watson. They're the ones talking about maybe they want him or don't want him or whatever. The Dolphins have spoken. They said they're committed to Tua. I'm not sure, again, if you're hard of hearing, dude, but now you're creating something on the chat board like the Dolphins need to do something. They already did it. They don't need to keep doing it again just because your ass is bringing it up, or another stupid-ass radio station or show, or some dumbass columnist or some beat reporter that wants to bring it up. That's their effing problem, and obviously yours, not the Dolphins. The Dolphins have already committed to Tua. The head coach committed to Tua. The head coach can't say enough how many times he's excited about coaching Tua and how much untapped talent he has. So, Big D, if you can't understand English, I can't help you, bro. So if you want to be a panicked little pussy and keep acting up and acting like there's something going on when there's nothing going on, but it's your ass overreacting to a bunch of media members running their mouth. Nothing more and nothing less. So if you like Tua, understand this. The Dolphins are committed to Tua. So shut the hell up already. You know, some of you, man, you guys create things. You create these things that are not even happening. You know, it's like you create another imaginary world that doesn't exist. And if you want a front office or a coach or whatever to go answering to all your silly little rumors and crap that you guys bring up, that most of it is not true, that would be ridiculous, and that's a waste of time. Man, Jesus Christ. Have opinions does not entitle one to spread delusions. That's exactly it. That's what Big D is, a big delusion. Doesn't get it at all. Oh, the front office has to put an end to it. They already put an end to it. Jesus. Avoid Facebook if you don't want to hear about Watson is going to be. No, of course, Facebook. That's really a real source for news. Yeah. God bless, man. Jesus Christ, dude. Big D says, damn, Big O, I was talking about Tua not going through this again. This talk is everywhere. And says, it's only by idiots, Big D. Idiots. So do you want to be an idiot? Only idiots are talking about Watson and the Dolphins. Do you understand that? Any writer that says Watson and the Dolphins, you're an idiot. And if you're on a radio show and you're talking about Watson and the Dolphins, you're an idiot, or you're just a lazy radio host that you can't talk about anything else, so you have to use this as a crutch. That's all it is, dude. It's lazy people, lazy writers, lazy radio, lazy TV. So if any of the Sunday shows were throwing around the Watson stuff for the Dolphins, it's just laziness to try to stir it up. And that's it. That's all it is. And the only reason I'm talking about it, it's so I can then expose everybody for what it is. Okay? Because that's all. If you're bringing it up on radio, if you're writing it in a column, or if you're saying it on television, you're only doing it to get a rise out of the fans, because people like Big D overreact over stupid stuff like this. And then they get on chat boards and with their desperation act like this is something that's killing the kid or something like that. Oh, Tua has to go through it again. Oh, I'm sorry. No, Tua's fine, dude. Tua has what he didn't have the last 2 years. He has a coach that's actually in his corner. That guy is not, you could tell that guy's not Flo. That guy, if he tells you he's in your corner, he's in your corner. He doesn't look like much of a BS or anything like that. And he's certainly not a liar like Flo. Because Flo is a flat out liar. Because he won't even admit that he didn't want Tua. That's where he loses all credibility for me, because I know for a fact he wanted no part of Tua, and he treated him that way. And yet he thinks we're that stupid to actually look at it that way. And, we didn't pick up on the fact that you didn't like Tua. I know he didn't want Tua, but everybody picked up on the fact that he didn't like Tua. Everyone. Anybody with with a tenth of a brain knew Brian Flores didn't like Tua. I know for a fact he didn't even want to draft him. So that's the difference. Don't worry about it. Tua's fine, bro. Tua now has what he needs, support. Now it's their job to go out and fix the damn line in the running game. I had to put on my earplugs in here at work because you got fired up. Love it. Well, thank you, Jerry Company. Appreciate you. Big O, it's all these YouTube pod shows, wannabe journalists spreading rumors to get views. That's exactly it. That's the only reason you bring up the Washington stuff, to stir it up. That's all, because there's no substance behind it. He's not coming here. They're not interested. They're not trading for him. The plan is to build around Tua, so there's no reason to bring up the other guy. You know? So, let's see. Big O, you see some of these dumbasses that think we still, there's plenty of them out there. There's always plenty dumbasses. That's the good thing. Plenty of dumbasses out there. All right, we are loaded, by the way. Alan Poupart's going to join us at 11:30. Joe Shad will stop by at 12:30. Marcel Louis Jacques will join us at 1 o'clock. Heat are off tonight. Tuesday, they host the Pistons at FTX Arena. Kings defeat the Panthers in a shootout last night, 3-2. They're off tonight. Tuesday, they're on the road to San Jose. That's where they're going. They're on the road to San Jose. Bitcoin right now, 39,200. Pat of Nashville, love on the super chat, says, Big O, so what you're implying is there's still a chance we land Watson. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm implying. All right, hour number 2. Let's get ready for it here on the program. Coming to you live, baby, from the OK Coin Studios. Let's rock and roll. Hour number 2 is next.
Ready to purchase a new home loan or refinance the one you have, American Dream Lending will make sure your loan experience is easy with fast approvals and quick closings. With many loan programs and competitive rates, now is the time to turn your dreams into reality. Ask about special financing for veterans. They never charge an application fee, and you will work directly with one of their experienced loan professionals. Stop dreaming and contact American Dream Lending today, 786-802-1727, or online at adreamlending.com. When protecting your family is your priority, there's nothing more important than a roof above the people you love. Call Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com, 954-735-9826 or 954-394-1411, and ask to speak to Tommy, the owner. They specialize in all kinds of roofs, led by their highly crafted, skilled, and professional roof mechanics. All of their previous customers have an opportunity to enter their bi-weekly drawings to receive free an exterior impact metal door. Please call for more details. That's Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com, 954-735-9826 or 954-394-1411. Trust Tommy to fortify and protect what's most important to you, your family. The Big O Radio Show is looking for an experienced salesperson in the radio or TV business. The candidate must have at least 5 years of sales experience in the broadcast business over the last 10 years. Please email your phone number and resume to bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. That's bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. Looking for an aggressive person who can help our platform expand into many avenues in our business. Reach out if you are the person that's able to make a difference. The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
The Big O Radio Show is brought to you by Caneswear. Go to Caneswear.com, where all orders over $99 get free shipping. Sloman's Total Home Security. Protect your home with the best in the business. 1-800-ALARM-ME for the company serving America for nearly 100 years. 1-800-ALARM-ME. Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com. Licensed roofing contractor. 100% financing is available. Go to Tommy B. Butts Jr. Enterprises.com.
The Big O Radio Show originates from the OK Coin Studios. Invest a little time and save big. Just set the recurring buy and pay, zero transaction fee after your first purchase. The Big O Radio Show is mastered by executive producer Sean Stanley from the OK Coin Studios. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Welcome aboard. Hour number 2 on the program. Hope you all are doing well there. Plenty of things to talk about today on the show. Hour number 2. Alan Poupar will join us here at the bottom of the hour. We'll talk all things Dolphins and NFL with Poupar, as we'll give you any of the latest news going on, deals going on in the NFL. We'll pass those on for you. By the way, Thursday, we are on the road, as always, at Hialeah Park. We'll be in the second floor poker room. On Friday, we will make our debut at Ksdt CPAs. So we're going to be in the offices, looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun. And you know what? Why don't we do this? Why don't we do our, and it's a really funny one, a KSDT Sports Minute. Ah, yes, KSDT, baby. You need a CPA. It is that time of year for your personal, for your business. Call KSDT. They also specialize in crypto. So a lot of you that have gotten into crypto this past year, like yours truly, you need people that actually understand crypto so you can file it the right way. KSDT also has a crypto department, and they are highly ranked and rated by Forbes as one of the top tax firms and audited firms, tax firms and what's it called? Accounting firms, not audit, accounting firms in the country. So KSDT is definitely one you can trust. Got over 150 employees. Man, it is a great, great company there in the Dadeland area. So KSDT, check them out. All right, so we give you our sports business report, our KSDT sports business report. And, you know, whether it's sports business or any kind of business, you want to make an investment and you're looking to get a return, right? You know, I invested in Ethereum a while back, and I got it somewhere in the 15, 16, 1700 range. And it went all the way up to 4,600, which was great. Now it's been in a dip, but it's somewhere in the 26, 2,700 range. So I'm still way in profits, right? So you always want to make an investment and you want to make profits on your investment. You never want to take a loss. Well, Unfortunately, this gentleman did take a loss because yesterday Tom Brady announced his unretirement. He is no longer retired. He is coming back for the 2022 and maybe 2023 season for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And Tom Brady, when he walked out, he threw his last touchdown. Well, that last touchdown pass, that thing went up for auction. That's right. And on Sunday, when he announced his return, a collector who paid $518,628 for the football that was regarded at the time as Brady's final touchdown pass, that item sold at an auction in Leland's. Now, if Brady indeed plays this year, he's going to likely throw a lot more touchdown passes. So this collector was making a very risky investment by putting $500,000 into a touchdown pass by Tom Brady that was supposedly his last touchdown pass. How much now do you think that ball drops now? Because there's a lot of balls that Brady has thrown for touchdown passes, right? There's hundreds. So they're not really worth $518,000 each. They might be worth $1,800 each. A touchdown pass by Tom Brady. It's not going to be worth that much. It wasn't a Super Bowl season. It wasn't a touchdown that clinched a Super Bowl win or anything like that. It wasn't something that meant something in the record books. So in the end, your $518,000 now turns to dust. Okay? You'll be lucky to get just a slither of that $518. That, my friends, was not a good business investment by doing that. Now, maybe he has, plenty of money and this isn't an issue for him. Maybe $518,000 to him is $5 to you and me. And if that's the case, then that's fine. But right there, baby, that's not good business right there. He lost a lot of money. You could say that ended up becoming a fumble in the end, not a touchdown. That is your KSDT Sports Business Minute.
This has been the KSDT Sports Business Report. KSDT CPA is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax and accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit online at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
All righty. We are back. We back. There we go. Really looking forward to all the defenses loading up the box to stop all the runs next season. It's going to be titillating. Keep me absolutely 100% glued to my TV in anticipation. There you go. That's what it's all about. Nick says, listen, guys, I'm tired of the smash the like button. I am now on my 5th phone in a month. You're really smashing it, huh? I got you. Oil falls below $100. Well, pass on the savings to the pump. Let's go. I don't know why oil keeps falling. Isn't it crazy, right? You would think that all it would do is keep going up, and now it's starting to fall now. That's the weirdest thing, man. Sometimes it's just to me, I think that's what's going on with crypto too now. Because the exchanges are they're at all-time lows. People aren't selling their Bitcoin. People are just buying Bitcoin up right now. There's going to be a point where it's going to just go, man, and it will never return to these numbers again. And anybody that took advantage now is going to love it, man. I'm telling you, I don't know how it hasn't exploded yet, but it's coming, man. It's coming. I'm telling you, it is on the brink of happening. There might be another dip, which I hope, buy me more time, baby. I want to get me a Bitcoin. Think about this, folks. There are 21 million Bitcoins. That's all there's going to be mined There's about 1.8 million, I think, just under 2 million that haven't been mined yet. Once they're all mined by 20, I believe 40, I think all of them will be mined. Once they're all mined, that's it, done. You can find more gold. There's more gold to be found in the world, and they will find more. Bitcoin, that's it. It's over. And there's 8 billion people on planet Earth. Okay, Mission Impossible. Ding! You know, should you decide to accept it, as Peter Graves would say, or it's not Peter Graves. Is it Peter Graves the one that's saying? I think it was his voice. You want to own a Bitcoin. Just saying. When that thing is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars down the line, maybe it gets to even $1 million. You're going to remember this program. Years later, you're going to go, that crazy sumbitch was right. I should have gotten some Bitcoin. So, just saying it. It's going to happen. It's going to explode. Let's see. What else do we have? Crypto has been in the mainstream news more in the last month than in the last year. Yeah, well, eventually. And now what happened with Canada and what's going on with Ukraine and Russia, it put crypto to the forefront, and people understood why Bitcoin is the answer and the future. Luke, the Drift, RIP, Razor, Ramon, Scott Hall. You want to fill us in there, Sean, on a wrestler that apparently had complications with prostate surgery and ended up passing away, if I'm correct, if that's the story that I read. Is that the gentleman that we're talking about here?
I'm trying to get all in here. He had went in, he fell at home, he hurt his hip and went in for surgery. He had 3 or 4 heart attacks on his recovery. Right now he's currently on life support, but they will be cutting life support off today, as announced by Kevin Nash in an Instagram post. So that is where it stands right now.
Okay. All right. So there you go. It's sad, man. Sad. Yeah, I read it too in my preparation. I saw it where I'm actually keeping up more wrestling news now. You're doing this every day practically. I'm actually keeping up with it now. But yeah, it was it sucks when I'm reading that story. And this is something that we can all relate to. Okay? Our better days. And as we get older, or as we break down, and then they start showing pictures of you when you were younger and all that and your better days. And, and they show him now, and then they show him in the ring, and he looks like a badass. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, that's the sad part, right? That we all age, man. And Father Time takes over at one point or another. And you realize, dude, we all have an expiration date at one point or another, and we all can't be, 18 or 28 our entire lives. Sad.
And he lived his life hard. He lived it hard.
A wrestler living hard?
Nah. I know it's tough to believe, but
I mean, come on, those guys are normally choir boys. Yeah, no, definitely, plenty of those. Big O's, Darius Smith is being released by Green Bay. What do you think about him as an option if we can't re-sign Agba? Could be an option. Tony says, love you, Sean. Keep the wrestling coming. NWO for life. He will.
I had a question for you. Oh, sorry.
He can only grow on the show. He knows that. Yes.
Billy Turner looks like he's going to get released from the Packers. An option? No.
Yeah, I think so.
I was just wondering what your thoughts were on him.
As long as you feel that he can run the scheme, yes. I'm not exactly sure about that. They're the professionals. I'm not. I'd have to ask around a little bit more. But if you feel he can play in the system, Sean, yeah, why not, man? Definitely. Yeah. Life is a vapor, Big O. Or you could just vape. Let's see. Sean is killing it with the wrestling show. Hell yeah, he is. And it's only getting started. Okay. We've talked about it. We want to add more elements to that wrestling show. We're not done. Sulio is saying Indonesia. Are you in Indonesia, Sulio? Because I can't pronounce that first name of yours. And the last name, I just wanted to use a little Phil Collins in there. So Sulio is out in Indonesia. I like that. I like when you guys and ladies out there put where you're watching the show from or listening. And by the way, send us a text on the text line, on the Welton Rayom text line, 855-912-1056. When you're listening to the podcast, wherever you're listening, send us a text. Tell us, hey, we hate the show from Indonesia. We love the show in Bangkok. Okay? Whatever. Watching from Tonga. Nice. Waiting for Jesse's release. Or Jesse's girl. Bills released offensive tackle. Pound for pound, Mr. Perfect or $1 Million Man? I don't know. You got to ask Sean. I have no context to all of that. Mr. Perfect or $1 Million Man there, Sean?
I got to go Mr. Perfect. Got to go Mr. Perfect. Although both of them can work, their work rates are phenomenal, and both of them can talk on the microphone. It's just, to me, the gimmick made Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man gimmick made Ted DiBiase, whereas Mr. Perfect was Kurt Hennig. He was that gimmick.
Okay. I like it. There you go. Keno Smith is chiming in from the beautiful Bahamas. I love the Bahamas. I mean, we need a sponsor in the Bahamas. I think Sean is all for that. Maybe once a month we fly over to the Bahamas, do a show from one of the resorts or something like that. I kind of feel, Jamaica, Bahamas, Puerto Rico. I mean, we need to get closer to the Caribbean islands, baby. Turks and Caicos. I mean, I think it's time to take the show on the road in the Caribbean. It's got to be some hotels and bars out there that want to bring the show on the road. I think it's time for stuff like that. We could be going to Daytona this summer. So we'll see now. Talk to our guys up there, and Eddie Lepp set it up. We'll see if everything works out. Who knows? We might be even there for Bike Week next year in Daytona. So I was telling Sean, we got to start going to these kind of events, man. Got to add some color to the show. This is why we don't want you to get worked up over Watson or Flo. We need the calmer, more gentler Big O. No, but I just get riled up because Big D is blaming the Dolphins front office for others talking about Watson. And that's the part that it's not, I'm not here to defend what the Dolphins have done the last 20 years. It's been a disaster. I'm not here to defend that. I know I suffer the same pain as you guys, but let's blame people for something they deserve to be blamed for. You know what I mean? I don't mind. Okay. You can blame them for a lot of things, but you can't blame them for that. It's like they've already made their commitment and they talked about it. And that's why it got me riled up. Because then it's Big D spreading it and making it sound like it's the Dolphins' fault. And then you get other fools that get on the same belief pattern, and that's just unacceptable. Dolphins have enough crap to deal with. Blame them for something that they deserve, not something they don't deserve. So, yeah. So I don't keep myself that cool when we're blaming anyone, whether I like them or dislike them, for something they didn't do. You know what I mean? Dolphins are ready to pounce, Big O. I'm with you, man. King Short says he's in Stubby Oaks, North Carolina. Stubby Oaks. Is that like King Short? Is that Eastern, Western, Central Carolina? Where is Stubby Oaks. I like the western part of Carolina. Never know. I might end up having a little home out in Western Carolina one day. Watching from Jacksonville, says Alex Johns. Well, hey, man, Alex, when we head up to Daytona in the summer, we want to see you out there, so you're close by. And Jean Almighty is chiming in from his bathroom in Georgia. I like it. Don't strain too hard there, Jean. You don't want anything happening in that bathroom. We don't want you going down in the bathroom like Elvis. Didn't Elvis die on the toilet? Right? Wasn't it something like that? And Hunter Butler just wants to remind me he's watching from South Florida. So that's it. That's it. I like it. Michael says formerly from South Africa, but watching in the UK now. Right. And of course, Corn Iowa Productions. Love the show. If you had not guessed, from Iowa. DMB Entertainment says in Indiana. John's telling us Darrell Williams got released. Bromar Smelly is a big fan of the wrestling show, and he loves 90s wrestling. Andrew is chiming in from Fayetteville, North Carolina, Airborne Bay. Speaking of Airborne, so Welton Rayom, right, in the summer, I'm gonna talk to Daniel today because he's the pilot out of the two. And we're going to have them on Wednesday to talk a little bit about the Watson situation, the legal part of it. Not for the Dolphins, but to address the stuff. But anyway, speaking of Airborne, so Daniel's a pilot, and he's got a stunt plane. So Sean and I are going to do this in the summer. And not Sean. Sean will be on the ground. I'll be in the plane with Daniel, and he's probably going to be doing tricks and all that. I was going to ask you this, Sean, but I'll do it on the air. You could give me a link, right? And I could be up in the air with the phone, and the fans can see me in the stunt plane doing all the crazy stuff, right? We'll probably get away with that, right? Because we're not really flying that high or anything like that.
In theory, yes, that should work. Yes.
It should work.
In theory, it would work.
So I'm going to talk to Daniel because that's my idea now. So he wants to take me up in his stunt plane, which I know I'm going to end up throwing up or whatever. We'll have a barf pack. It'll be great television for you guys. Watching my face. Not that I'll be scared because I'm not scared of that shit. I was a pilot myself, so I got my pilot license and all that. I'm not afraid to fly or anything by any stretch whatsoever. But I'll tell you this. Now that I've gotten older, I used to ride roller coasters and anything that spun and twisted and whatever, and I was always laughing my ass off. As I've gotten older, I start going a little Joe Philbin on you. I start getting a little queasy. When I ride some of these things nowadays, my body does not respond the same way when I was young. Remember what I was telling you, as we get older, we're not the same. You know what I'm saying? So this plane trip will be very interesting. Okay. That's all I'm saying. You're not going to want to miss it. I think we'll do it in June. We'll wait till school's over and all that stuff. And then we'll, calmly go over to the airport and we'll go do our thing, man, and have some fun. So there you go. So I'm going to be flying soon with Rayom. Welt won't get on a plane. Jeff won't. Jeff goes, no, I did it once. I'll never do it again. He's not big on flying. I don't mind flying. I did the stunt plane thing once when I was at QAM. We went down to Homestead, and I flew on this was 20 years ago. And I didn't throw up, actually, because I'm pretty good at it. But nowadays, I got to tell you something. I'm not the same person anymore. So you never know what'll happen that day. Now, even then, I remember I had a little dry heave situation that I thought it was kind of, and I didn't, I grabbed the bag And I had a dry heave, and it was like, okay, no, nothing. And then we kept going, and it was fine. I have that film somewhere. They gave me the VHS. Yeah, it was a while ago. It was a VHS tape because they filmed it. Ah, yes. So there you go. Now you got me, Andrew, you got me talking airborne. What else? Luke wants JC Jackson. Big O, did you catch Colin Cowher's tweet? No, I'm no. Not I don't watch or follow Colin Cowherd. I don't know if you know that already by now. So don't ask me if I watched or caught something from Cal Turd or something, because I would have no idea what you're talking about, bro. So it is what it is. What do we have here? Colorado Springs, Big O. George Gonzalez, thank you. Roberts in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Get Red Stripe as a sponsor. Let's go. Bring it on. I like Red Stripe, actually. I always used to drink Red Stripe on Sundays at damn it, what's the name of the place in the Grove? Monty's. Monty's on Sunday night was kind of like grooving, right? And because it was a Sunday, if I remember correctly, they had like deals on Red Stripe. And I remember there was like a lot of Red Stripe drinking on Sundays. If my memory serves me right during that time back in the 80s, am I right? Was it at Sundays or was it at the tavern? No, I think it was at Sundays. I'm pretty sure it was at Sundays. I know it was in the Grove. Wait a minute. Could it have been the place in Key Biscayne? Because that place also got hot back in the 80s. Right after the Third Bridge, there was that club, like a restaurant club on the right side. I forgot the name of it. But back in the 80s, that place, maybe that's where we had the Red Stripes, and it wasn't Monty's. I don't know. But I remember there was a place on a Sundays that we used to go have a bunch of Red Stripes. Not sure, but I think that was it. Maybe I'm wrong. Saints trying to re-sign Teron Armstead. Of course they should. What else do we have? Cal Turd said Super Bowl bound Dolphins. Oh, whatever. I don't know. Drew Boo says, I love O said to Cam, he just needs to bend over here. Cam's face was priceless. Listening from Avon, Indiana, just outside Indiana. Always repping Big O in Veracruz, Mexico. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I couldn't go on some rides at the fair with my children because I get queasy more so now. LOL. It's weird, man. I don't have the same kind of, I don't know what it is. I can't hold it in like I used to, delivering mail in the ATL and listening to the Big O. Thank you, that dude. I appreciate you, man. Appreciate what all of you do every single day, delivering the mail. Not an easy thing, man. Not an easy grind. All right. Edward Jones advisor told me that Bitcoin was too volatile to help me invest. I'm not with that. Where else can I go as a novice? Look, Andrew, there's a guy. His name is George. He's an Asian guy. And go to Cryptos Are Us and the letter R Us. Okay, Cryptos, letter R and us.com. That's the website. Look for it on YouTube. He does 2 streams every day. He is the most logical, most sensible person talking crypto. Remember, crypto Bitcoin. At the beginning, you're going to be confused. You're going to be intimidated. You must hang in there. You must have patience. You must do your homework. You must do your own reading and find out about things. But read in the right places. Cointelegraph is a good place to go to. What's it called? I think his name is Benjamin Cohen or something like that. He does technical analysis. He's very good also. These kind of people that I'm telling you, they're not about show. They're not about drama. They're not about, all this kind of crap to try to stir things up. They stay level-headed, and they tell you what's good is good and what's bad is bad, and they just call it like they see it. And these are people you want to follow, and that'll educate you along the way so you can kind of learn about crypto and get to it. Obviously, a guy that is dealing in just traditional investing is going to crap on crypto because, one, it hurts them. They can't get the commission, and they don't know anything about it. And even if they did, it's going to hurt them because you're going to take your money away from them and go into crypto. So there's an agenda there, and it's not even hidden. Okay? All right? Anybody that tells you that about crypto, it's because they don't know about it, or they don't want to lose your business, dude. That's all. But patience and invest. And right now, I'm telling you, there is no better time to get into crypto than what's been going on the last couple of months. It's been one hell of an opportunity for so many people. So that's all I can tell you. All right. We promised you Alan Poupart, and that's what's coming up, baby. Let's talk a little Miami Dolphins and NFL with Alan Poupart and our Sports Grill Miami Dolphins report.
Let's get ready to talk Dolphins football. It's the Sports Grill Miami Dolphins Report with Sports Illustrated's Alan Poupart. With locations throughout South Florida, Sports Grill is the home of the special grilled wings. Check out our sponsored locations in Miami on Bird Road and 114th and in Miami Lakes in the Royal Oaks Plaza. Here's Miami Dolphins insider Alan Poupart.
Oh, talk a little Miami Dolphins. Follow him on Twitter at Poupart NFL. And make sure you bookmark that Sports Illustrated page. How are you doing, sir? Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you? What's going on? Anything going on around the world of the NFL these days?
I don't know. Some guy named Tom Schmady or something. Tom Shady. Tom Shady is returning because he's shady with his retirements and shady how he inflates his balls. He's kind of shady. So
yeah, not good.
Slim Shady's back.
Not good for my case of BFS.
No,
Brady fatigue syndrome.
Yes, yeah, no, you're gonna get plenty more now, baby. Plenty more.
Or if they come back from a deficit, no matter the circumstances, they'll be like, Brady brought him back again, like he did against the Rams, because it had nothing to do with the Rams completely, like self-destructing. No, it was all Brady. Them and the Chiefs. No offense to the Chiefs. I mean, mad respect for them, but kind of fatigue syndrome there too. Anyway, that's
I get. Although with Brady's a little more fatigue syndrome than Mahomes, at least. I will say this on the Brady thing. There's always this chance, and I talked about this in the first hour, that we don't know when Father Time comes knocking. And you and I are old enough to watch Muhammad Ali and Sugar Ray Leonard and watch, Dan Marino and watch Drew Brees last year and watch Ben Roethlisberger. And, we could go over time and we watch the athlete who hung on just a year or two too long. Eric Gagne got to a point where he couldn't drag that can to the mound anymore, and he didn't have, the firepower anymore, and you knew it at that point, and he had to go. And you just don't know when it's going to happen. And that's the one thing that you're rolling the dice. If you're Tom Brady, you might feel good, but from 1 month to another, dude, it happens just like that.
No, that's fair. But in the meantime, he's helping the Bucs a whole lot, because right away, does Ryan Jensen re-sign with them if Brady's not coming back or doesn't announce yesterday that he's coming back? Yeah, maybe not. So, no, he did him a solid by doing that. Then again, So like
maybe he's signing with the Dolphins, Ryan Jensen. That's what I was hoping for.
No, trust me, I know you were hoping that. So I mean, what the hell was the whole thing all along? I mean, dude, why are you making an announcement if and immediately he made the announcement and everybody was like, yeah, I'm not sure that's going to stick. Well, then why are you making the announcement? I guess you're really starving for attention that much. Like you haven't had enough over the past 20 years.
It's just one of those where you just look at it and I thought he wasn't that guy. I thought he was Tony Gwynn and, I thought he was Andrew Luck. And I thought he was that guy that when I quit, I quit. I'm done. I'm not doing this drama shit going back and forth. And if anything, we were all thinking he's going to San Francisco. He wants a shot now with San Fran because they've got a D. They're ready to go. All they need is a quarterback and they can win a Super Bowl. You know what I mean?
Hometown team. Yep.
Right? Hometown team, all that stuff. And then this, and then Jensen.
But then again,
if
you're looking at a guy who's like produced a documentary, like was it The Men in the Arena or whatever, and then he's got this podcast every week. I mean, ever since he left New England, I mean, he's put himself out there like he's a media conglomerate. So, I mean, between him and Aaron Rodgers, they suck up a lot of oxygen around the NFL world.
You wrote about some free agents you like for the Dolphins that fit what the Dolphins do that you talked about. Well, one of the guys I wanted to now lean on now that my man Ryan Jensen is gone is Ben Jones out of Tennessee. Your thoughts on Ben Jones being a target for the Dolphins at center? Do you like him or do not like him?
No, I do like him. I find it hard to believe that Titans are going to let him go, though, to be honest with you. And that's the thing. That's the thing with a lot of these free agents. It's like it's great to want guys, but you have to look at the circumstances. And more often than not, those really good free agents wind up staying put. Like Tomlinson, for example, like the 49ers, basically from everything I understand, either have decided that they can replace him easily or they're not in a position. They don't want to invest the money in him, even though they do like him because he had a very good year last year, but that they're okay with moving on with him. So that's to me why there's such glaring. He's got the connection with Mike McDaniel coming off a Pro Bowl year. It just screams logical fit for the Dolphins. Ben Jones would be an upgrade at center, a really solid player. I have a hard time seeing Tennessee letting him go. And he's been on a team that's been in the playoffs pretty much every year. Number 1 seed in the playoffs last year, even though it didn't turn out well. So if you're him,
tough, consistent,
correct.
Just durable. There's just a lot of things to like about that guy.
Yep.
He would be perfect for Tua right now, and it's exactly what he needs. And let me tell you something. You get him in Lincoln, and then you've got our boy on the right side, Hunt. I kind of like the middle of the line now. Now the middle of the line really starts to look like what Tua needs as a base, so that pocket doesn't crumble.
No, it's very solid, and yeah, I like Ben Jones. I didn't mention him because again, I have a very hard time seeing him, getting away from Tennessee. To be honest with you.
Yeah, no, but you know how it is. Not everybody that's available, and you see it in your article, fits what they do. So you gotta. Some players may not fit what you do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Do you think the New England tackle fits what they do?
Not that much, actually. Right? And I've heard his name thrown out there, and
a lot.
Right. And he's also a guy. He's also a guy who's been great in New England, but when he played for the Raiders, he was a mess. And no, I'm not a big fan of his. He's just really big and powerful guy.
I don't think he fits what they do. I don't think he fits what they do here, dude. No. I really don't. I think in a different system, yeah, in a man-on-man scheme there, yeah, that you can need to maul the guy in front of you, yeah. But on a zone, I don't know, dude. I don't know, and it's that's where, because people throw it out that way. And that's the problem. Sometimes people are throwing out names, but they're not really looking at the fit. So going off, give people a little bit of what you wrote about guys that you like, that you think fit. Give us two of those guys from your article.
Oh, you're asking, man. I write so many articles, and now you're asking me to remember
It's
here.
like the top 2 in your thing. I just read them this morning.
I know, and I've been like writing other stuff. I'm like, man, and then that's sad actually. That
You talk defensive end. Does that tell you anything?
Well, no, but the thing there's another one who came on the market
they
today.
Lose Agba, okay.
Darius Thomas came on the market today, and he's not going to be cheap. But the guy before last year had like 26 sacks over 2 years combined. He's one who would be great. Oh, no, yeah, and I mentioned like two like long shots to watch on the defensive line. The 2 guys from the 49ers, Arden Key, who Dolphins fan will remember from the face mask penalty on Ryan Fitzpatrick on that long play. Well, that guy kind of like highly talented coming out of LSU, took a while to get his career in the NFL going for.
Yeah, he was an underachiever early on. Yeah.
A massive underachiever, but there's something there with the dude. And he's one of those under the radar, not like a $10 million, $11 million signing, but he's a guy like, and the 49ers also had a very interesting interior defensive lineman if the Dolphins want to pad up their depth over there, even though it's not a massive need, but DL Jones is a really good interior defensive lineman. And again, another under the radar signing on the defensive line. And I keep looking back to San Francisco, but that's
But dude, I love that article of yours. And that's why I brought it up on the DNs because of what they just did with Agba. You know what I mean? Because he was kind of an under the radar guy too, because he was a bit of an underachiever in his first contract in the NFL. He never really he achieved what they wanted him to do here in Miami, actually.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's why I thought those names you brought up were kind of interesting, because something tells me they might be targeting, because if you got to spend a lot on the offensive line or possibly wide receiver in free agency, I don't think you can also do it at that position too. So maybe you go a little bit under the radar and you get that guy that's kind of underachieved early on. And I thought those guys, now Zaire is a whole different ball game.
Correct.
That one is
going to be pricey.
Yeah, that's going to be 14 million plus a year, easy.
Least,
I don't know how much more higher, because that's not my business, but it's going to be a lot of money that you're going to end up paying that guy.
No, I agree. And if you look, and I did something over the weekend of like the best free agent signings in Dolphin history, and the guy I had at number 2 was a guy who was that kind of player where he was a solid player, not a big flashy name, but his career was on the rise. And when he got to the Dolphins, it continued to take off. And that's Randy Starks, who was really, really good for the Dolphins. But he had never been Pro Bowl for Tennessee. He was just a solid on the rise type of player. And then another one was the number 1 guy on my list was Brent Grimes, who had been to the Pro Bowl, but was coming off an Achilles where he had played only 1 year. So there was a little bit of a gamble there. If you recall, Dolphins signed him for 1 year, $5 million, and boom, makes 3 Pro Bowls in a row. So that's
we had a guy here in Paul Soliai. It took him a few years it took him to his 4th year to really figure it out. He started to show glimpses in his 3rd year, and then his contract year, he really blew up. But unlike other contract guys who then get the contract and then kind of become a bum, Starks was a good player from there on. The light went on for Starks is what I'm trying to say. It wasn't that he was swindling somebody for a contract or anything like that.
No, but Stark was just like solid, not like a not great.
Right. No, Starks is different. Yes.
And then he got to the Dolphins and he just kept going up and up and up, where he became a 2-time Pro Bowl player and was really, really good. Even though he wasn't flashy, so maybe to the average fan, he wasn't like, oh, this guy's really, really good, but he was really solid. And then I did something else also. Like, we all love the big splashy free agent signing. Those don't work out particularly often. So we got to be careful about looking for, like, for example, Allen Robinson. I look at Allen Robinson and I'm like, why?
2 years ago, yes, not now.
Why?
Not
He's
now.
going to be awfully pricey, and is he really going to be a difference maker? I don't think so.
At this point, I don't know anymore. You know what I mean? I think at this point, it's such a big gamble, Allen Robinson. It's like, who's the receiver you would want now in free agency? Because obviously Cooper's off the list. That's one guy that I really wanted. Is there a guy out there that you would clamor for?
Clamor for. Well,
did you want Cooper like I did?
Not at $20 million a year.
Okay.
Yeah,
right. That's fair.
But I did want. Yeah, I do like Cooper a lot. And I think it would have been like a great addition. And the problem with wide receivers, so many of them have already been taken off the market.
I know.
I like Mike Williams a whole lot, even though I knew it was going to be very pricey, and I didn't figure the Chargers were going to let him go.
The back still scares me with him, but that's still something that he's overcome. I give him credit, man, but that was some serious stuff that happened to him early in his career. That is one tough hombre to come back from that. Is there a receiver that makes your toes tingle?
My toes tingle.
Great Mad Dog.
We bring back Will Fuller.
Will Fuller.
Yeah. Let's see my list here. I know you and I have talked about Jamison Crowder.
I love him. I love him for the slot. Love him for the slot.
How about Cordell Patterson at a decent price? Again, everybody.
Well, go ahead.
No, I was going to say everybody at the right price, but Cordell Patterson is very interesting because McDaniel could do a lot of different things with him. He's obviously somebody who jumps out. I know Braxton Berrios has been mentioned. To me, that'd be a solid pickup because he could be a decent slot guy and return punt.
Returner.
Correct. So
he had a good year. It's weird that the Jets are allowing both to leave the door, Crowder and Berrios. I thought Berrios was going to stay. That's why they were letting Crowder go, and that made sense to me because Berrios kind of elevated his game this year, had a really good season, and you figure, okay, we'll play him in the Crowder role now. And they must have an idea for somebody else, but that's one established slot guy and another guy that really Berrios could be crossing that threshold of becoming a consistent slot player and returner for you. That's kind of odd. That one I really, really, really am up. But I love Jamison Crowder. I would love to see. That's one of the receivers I would like because that would allow you to put Waddle on the outside now.
Mm-hmm. The thing that's weird with the Jets, going back to that issue, is they have the second most cap space behind only the Colts. Dolphins are third. So it's not because they don't have the money, and it's not like either Crowder or Berrios are going to be like big money guys. So that they would allow both of them to go to free agency, indeed, is pretty weird.
Juju Smith-Schuster, somebody's bringing it up there. Plenty of people have brought it up. And King Short brings up the guy that I really like a lot, which is DJ Chark. I love DJ Chark. That's one guy that Chark and Crowder would probably be my favorites. But going back to what's it called? Who I just mentioned right now before Chark. Who did I mention right now?
Juju.
Juju, yes. Are you a Juju guy?
Yeah, I wouldn't overpay for Juju. I mean, Juju's monster year was when defenses were double teaming Antonio Brown left and right. Once Antonio Brown left, numbers kind of dwindle a little bit. The yards per reception average is horribly low.
Maturity.
Yeah. Although, see, to me with Brian Flores, that would have been a non-starter. His social media presence, I think Mike McDaniel strikes me as somebody who, like, you know what, as long as you get your job done, knock yourself out, just don't embarrass the team, you know?
Although I will say this, from now on, if I'm watching a player that I see has had some kind of maturity issues and finally the Steelers are letting him go, after what I've seen with Le'Veon and Antonio Brown, and, Ben Roethlisberger was, he's as terrible as those guys are, and even worse, maybe criminally, allegedly. I am going to start worrying about that because I now have this extra respect for Mike Tomlin that I've, found somewhere, that how that guy is able to overcome some of these knuckleheads and get the most out of them, and yet somehow or another hide all the deficiencies. It's amazing to me. So I've seen stuff that Juju Smith-Schuster has done. I just wonder, what about the stuff I don't know about? And that's where that concerns me.
Yeah, but they're not letting him go to free agency. Like, for example, they basically wash their hands. They're like, okay, enough with Brown, enough with Le'Veon. Whereas with Juju, they're just letting him go in free agency. It's not, and remember, he was a free agent last year and they re-signed him.
Right.
So the issue with him is basically now production versus cost. And that's going to be the issue for any team that examines him, which is why for me, if you get him really cheap, sure, why not? But to me, he should not command big money because the last 2 years he's been whatever.
I'll tell you this: Juju Smith-Schuster or DJ Chark. Where are you going?
Chark is a heartbeat, but with DJ Chark, we have to be careful. I got into Twitter, I posted a public service announcement on Twitter, basically suggesting that the people who keep bitching about Devontae Parker and his injuries absolutely now need to be quiet if they're pushing for Teron Armstead. Well, correct, but that's the same thing with DJ Chark. Is he's coming off a pretty serious injury. So,
but he's not. But he hasn't been injury prone. Like this kid's been injury prone since college. It's kind of like
the Dolphins still drafted him in the first round, which is again that's
right. But I get it why you did it out of college because you were thinking, okay, well, it's not going to be a thing, and you just never know if it is a thing or not. Some guys had a couple of injuries and then they overcome it and they move on with their careers, and then others, it's who they are, and unfortunately.
But it increases the risk factor if you have that injury. And sometimes it works out because it worked out with Jalen Waddle, who didn't have any issue whatsoever. What's up, Sean?
We got some breaking news. If he's chiming in, there's some breaking news right now. Sean, what is the breaking news?
It looks like a big move on free agencies from Marcel Louis-Jacques for the Dolphins just landed. Ogbah remains in Miami for 4 years, just over $16 million a year.
Ogbah, 4 years, $16 million per year.
Good move.
That's a great move. It's a great move. I'm really happy for that. And that's exactly what we were talking about. 15, 16, 17, 18. He was going to be in that neighborhood. 16. That's about right. I like that. All right.
And they had to do the little dance of, obviously, because the question is going to be asked, Sean, to have something else?
$32 million fully guaranteed.
Okay. Excellent.
There you go.
Or Drew.
Some people are going to be like, well, couldn't they have done this earlier? Yeah, they could have done this earlier, but the old saying, deadlines per action.
Well, they could have done it earlier, but earlier Drew wanted 18 per year.
Yeah,
and they were,
and maybe the Dolphins were offering 14 per year.
Right. So they kind of met in the middle. And then Drew knows what the rest of the league is offering because he took the pulse throughout the week at the combine, because that's what they do, ladies and gentlemen. Let's not kid ourselves.
No, they don't do that.
So the 16 or 17 he might have gotten in somewhere in California or New York is not worth the same 16 that you get here in Miami. And Chris knows that. So actually, what you got to like is that Greer actually plays hardball and he doesn't really, flinch that easy. You know what I mean? So this is a really good move.
No, I completely. I've been advocating that. I mean, I wrote a story and then reset it 18 different times. The number one priority to me in free agency was re-signing Ogbah.
Yeah. It makes sense, man. Makes all the sense in the world that you bring back Ogbah. I love that move overall. All right, what are you working on? I guess you'll be working on an Ogbah story and other things for the Dolphins.
Yeah, maybe. I think I might go bang out a little Ogbah story here.
All right. But do you think they'll still go defensive end in the draft or in free agency for an under the radar guy now as a rotation?
Oh, absolutely, and to build up depth, no question. But you don't need the big ticket guy anymore. I also don't think. Yeah, I don't think they're going to go edge in the first round at 29, and I don't think they go an offensive line at 29. Those are the two that I would personally. And they're not going quarterback at 29. And they're not going tight end at 29. So those are the positions I would eliminate. Anything else is on the table as far as I'm concerned.
Follow him on Twitter at Poupart NFL. Go to Sports Illustrated, catch his exceptional work, bookmark it. Every Dolphin fan in the world should be bookmarking it. He is Alan Poupart. Alan, as always, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you and that Expos hat.
Well, thank you, sir. And the Expos hat, thanks you.
There you go. Alan Poupart, baby. And our sports.
This has been the Sports Grill Miami Dolphins Insider Report with Alan Poupart, exclusively on the Big O Radio Show. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast and never miss the report. Search Big O Radio Show on most platforms. Visit Sports Grill in our sponsored locations in Miami on Bird Road and 114th and in Miami Lakes in the Royal Oaks Plaza.
Good move by the Dolphins. We got good news already. So free agency has started off really, really well. They got Ogba back. I think that is absolutely enormous news to get Ogba back and get him to a good deal too, man. So I like that. I like that. Packers are releasing Zadarius Smith and Billy Turner. Remember, they also could be releasing guys because if they want to pay Devontae Parker, no, not Devontae. What is it? What's the name of the receiver for the Packers? Why am I getting confused? Devontae Adams. If Devontae Adams is like, I need a contract, and maybe Rodgers is like, hey guys, you better give him an effing contract. Okay, I need that guy. I mean, you guys never draft anybody for me. You better give me that guy. So maybe they've got to release people to give Devontae Adams his contract. So there you go. That's why they released Zadarius Smith. Billy Turner. There you go. A little depth action there. A guy that can compete for your guard spot. And if not, be a really good backup. He's been a starter. So he could easily win the job here. I personally want Ben Jones right now. That's the guy that I would want for the Miami Dolphins at center. Since we can't get Ryan Jensen anymore, he's re-signing with the Buccaneers. Ben Jones, for me, would be the guy that I would go after if I'm the Miami Dolphins. I need some experience and get somebody stout there in the middle of that line for Tua. I think that would be absolutely awesome. Let's see. Mike says, I just saw something that said if Omar Kelly says someone wants to leave, expect them to re-sign him. Oh, yeah, Omar thought that that Ogba would price himself out, and he did not. He did not. Oh, are you still trading out on the 29th pick for Tunsil? Oh, I would. Yeah, if you can get Tunsil. I don't know if that's available, but yeah, I would. Hell yeah, I would. Why, did Tunsil sign or something that I don't know about? Let me see. What else do we have here? Multiple teams expressed interest in trading for Kirk Cousins. Wow. And Deshaun Watson expected to meet with Panthers and Saints in the next 48 hours. Interesting. Not surprising because obviously the Panthers are super desperate for a play. I was thinking about this. This would be a funny thing. All right. We just saw Tom Brady after 40 days say, I'm not retiring. I'm coming back. Okay. Well, we just watched Sean Payton say, I've had enough. I'm out of here. A year of Jameis Winston, Taysom Hill and company. Yeah, I've had enough. I'm out of here. 20 years of Breeze or 15 years of Breeze, and now this. No, I'm out of here. But all of a sudden, you're the Saints, and you trade for Watson. Sean Payton's like, hey, I'm rejuvenated. I feel great. I'm ready to go to work again. You guys need a coach? I'm ready to go. I can see that happening, right? Saints trade for Watson. Sean Payton, reinvigorated, ready to coach the Saints again. All right, let's get ready for hour number 3 on the program. If you want to get in on the Welton Rayom text line, 855-912-1056. We'll read that when we come back on the other side. 855-912-1056. Back with more right here for hour number 3 on the Big O Radio Show.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Houston, we have a package. Hello?
No matter where you are, the Sloman Shield home security system guards your home. With next-gen perimeter protection, 24/7 monitoring, and interior motion sensing. And right now, get a free Sloman Shield security system and doorbell camera, all professionally installed, for free.
Shield your world, the Sloman Shield.
Welton Rayom has more than 62 years of litigation experience handling insurance disputes. They're committed to resolving even the toughest insurance claims quickly. Call them for a free consultation. 954-966-4646. At Welton Rayom, they don't get paid unless you win. property damage claims to your home, business, or condo as a result of a hurricane, Welton Rayom can help. Water, mold, fire, smoke damage, Welton Rayom can help. Call 954-966-4646.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
The Big O Radio Show is looking for partners to join our growing platform. If your business is ready to reach an audience that starts in Florida, crosses the nation while expanding internationally, this is the program that provides that vehicle. The Big O Radio Show is ready to broadcast live anywhere in the world to represent your event or product. To reach out by phone, 786-754-4664. That's 786-754-4664. Or email bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. Help us grow as we provide the content and personal connection corporate entities will never achieve.
Folks, you can support the hardest working sports talk show in South Florida through Cash App or Venmo. Just search Cash Big O Show. Support us through Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show. We thank you for your incredible support.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where Inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
The viewpoints, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc., ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
The Big O Radio Show is brought to you by Sports Grill, good food, good drinks, good friends. Craig Zinn Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealership in the Southeast United States. The Fort Lauderdale Police Department. The FLPD is hiring. Go to FLPDjobs.com.
The Big O Radio Show originates from the OK Coin Studios. Invest a little time and save big. Just set the recurring buy and pay, 0 transaction fee after your first purchase. The Big O Radio Show is mastered by executive producer Sean Stanley from the OK Coin Studios. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
Back. I'm just actually sending an email. Let's see here. All right, there we go. All righty. All right, welcome back. Hour number 3 here on the program. We take you, of course, still a little after 1, actually, because at 1 o'clock, Marcel Louis-Jacques, who was on the Agba story, is going to be joining us at 1 o'clock to talk a little bit about that. So we'll have some fun with all of that, too. So there you go. It's a beautiful thing. Crypto, by the way, is over 30, or Bitcoin, that is over 39,000 right now, holding on 39. If those of you that took advantage on Sunday a little bit, it went down to 37 and 38. Got a little bit in there. Good for you as you take advantage of this amazing buying time. All right, what else do we have here on the show? Most of you looks like most of you are in with the move for Emmanuel Agba. By the way, don't forget that if you're in the mood for something free, how about a free doorbell camera from the great people at Sloman's? Yeah, baby. Alarmo is here with me. He hangs out every day, and he can hang out covering your home too. Alarmo, 1-800-ALARM-ME is the number. We have the link there that you can hit. And make sure you tell them that you heard it here on the Big O Show. We will give you a free doorbell camera when you use our central station monitoring system, folks. It's connected to your smartphone, and we're going to give you a free customized home security system, professional installation when you use our low-cost central station monitoring. And you're getting an LED touchscreen pad, a motion detector, 3-arm doors, and a backup battery. We've been telling you about Sloman's now for a while. They are a proud sponsor of our program. They're in 14 different states. So make sure you call them at 1-800-ALARM-ME. They could be in your state, in your town, and they can then service you and tell them that you heard it on the Big O Show, and you can get your free doorbell camera. You're going to love it. The system is really easy to use. I'm not very smart, and I can use it. So most of you, it'll be really easy if I can use it, folks. And you're going to love how you can control all your cameras. You can watch what's going on inside your house, outside your house. It all depends on you. I have one inside, or we have a camera inside because we like to keep, track of our doggies. So, we've got a bunch of dogs running around the house. So we got to make sure that everything is all right with our dogs when we're away. You know what I'm saying? So inside, outside, you've got it covered, and you'll always know who's at your door with your doorbell camera, and you can also talk to them. It's a beautiful thing, man. Call the great folks at Sloman's, 1-800-ALARM-ME, to protect your home, your family, and your business. 1-800-ALARM-ME. Thank you. Robert Rodriguez says, love the fact we kept Ogba. Time now for some O-linemen. I'm with you there, man. I'm with you there. No doubt about it. And yes, for those of you bringing it up, we've already been talking about Ogba for a little bit. Yes, we all know Ogba signed. Missed the details on the contract, brother. What's being reported? 4 years, $16 million per year, $32 million guaranteed. That's what's being reported. Okay. All right. I think the Carolinas are home for Watson. I think you're wrong, sir. I think a massage parlor is home for Watson. That's what I think. But not that massages are going on there. Yes, sir.
One of your names, Alex Kappa, probably off the market. The Bengals. He's going to the Bengals to protect Joe Burrow. So
and you saw that Ali Marpet said he's staying retired. So they lost Marpet, who was probably their best interior lineman, and now they lose Alex Kappa. So they're losing 2 of their linemen. They're getting Jensen back. So they're getting their center and losing their guards. All right. Just saying. Carlos says Tijuana in the house. Richard says LA pulled the goalie about a minute and 20 seconds to go in the game. Huberdeau retaliates and takes a penalty. LA had pulled goalies. Now it's sex on for LA, tied in the game with under a minute. Stupid. Richard, it's all right, bro. Relax. They're having a phenomenal year, okay? Things didn't go well at the end for them there. No, it's not the end of the world, man. They'll be fine. So they'll be fine. Greer, go get O-lineman. I'm with you, King Short. I am with you, man. Let's see. What else do we have here? All right. Let's go to the Welt and Rayom text line, which is 855-912-1056. That's 855-912-1056. If you want to chime in on the Welt and Rayom text line like they did up in Canada. Big O, greetings from the Great White North. I want Miami to try and get Laramie Tunsil. Give me a shout out as my ass is freezing up here in Canada. There you go. Give me your name next time, too. What city are you in Canada? All those things. You sent me the Canadian flag, which was really cool in the text. So you put some emojis on there. Always love that. Put a little effort into it. But you got to give me, give me the city, man. Did you even give me your name? Just greetings. So you got to give me a city and a name in Canada. Okay? I mean, you're freezing your ass off. I get it. You don't want to text too much. Your fingers are a little frozen, but, make a little effort there. We want to know who you are and what city in Canada. Big O Dan the Man watching every day in La Mira, California, smashing the like button. Thank you. California. You know, the way they run that place is commie-like, yes. Let's see. Big O, now that the red-haired whale is staying with the Bucks, what's the Dolphin news you expect to hear today? Well, we just heard that. He also asked, Teron Armstead reminds me of another Brandon Albert. He's better than Brandon Albert at this point in his career, but he is just as injury prone. So that part, yeah. I mean, we can't get around the fact that Teron Armstead is injury prone. I mean, he's a terrific player, but he's injury prone. Let's not separate the two here. It's a very risky signing. Even though he's a good player, it's a risky signing. You better have a third tackle that's really good. If you sign Teron Armstead, okay, you need two good tackles. Well, you need to go find a third also. So there you go. Let me see, what else do we have? Remember, 855-912-1056 if you want to get in on the Welt and Rayom text line. Orlando and Sean, thanks for another great show today. It's the start of Christmas morning for the Dolphins. Let's go get some road graders for the O-line. My prediction, Miami trades for Collins today or tomorrow, which would be a solid pickup if pass baggage checks out. Because he protects Tua's blind side. Fins up. God bless. Eric from Mesquite, Nevada. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate you listening, my brother, and keeping it locked. And I want to see you in Las Vegas in what? Like 6 weeks, right? 6 weeks. Las Vegas, baby. Welton Rayom text line, 855-912-1056. I think they know they can get you by writing those questions either or too young or they really haven't gone through any kind of real conflict in life. When we hit Armageddon, life not worth living. Yeah, they do get me riled up sometimes. Jordan, you are in Toronto. Thank you, sir. Chiming in on the Welt and Rayom text line. Very nice, Jordan. And Toronto, nice city too, man. It's a great place to live. Canadian people are just awesome. Canadians and then Tim Hortons. You're good. What do you got for me?
This is from Adam Schefter. Miami Dolphins and running back Chase Edmonds reached agreement on a 2-year, $12.6 million deal that includes 6-1 guaranteed. Per agent Drew Rosenhaus, the former Cardinals running back, is headed to Miami.
2-year, $12 million?
$12.6 million.
I
love 6.1 million guaranteed.
I got to tell you something. I love that signing. That kid is like the underrated running back in that group always. Chase Edmonds. I like that. You're not paying like this world of money. That's a really good move there, Chase Edmonds. 2 years, $12 million. I like that move. Yes. Anybody that plays fantasy knows who Chase Edmonds is. And it's like one of those that you watch and you're like, how come they don't give that kid more time? How come they don't dedicate a little more time to him? He's a solid back, dude. And I'm glad he's here. That's a really good move right there for the Dolphins. Chase Edmonds, 2 years, $12.6 million. So we get Ogbah back. We get a running back, which they need. That's a good move. This allows you now to get a back in the 3rd or 4th or 5th rounds to kind of groom to go with what you have now. And Chase Edmonds in this system, I think, actually fits perfectly. And he's a terrific pass catcher, by the way. And he can block. That's another thing. Chase Edmonds can block. Okay? That's a good move. I like it, man. I like it. Let's see. Hope Chase can stay healthy. No, he's pretty good, man. He's all right. I'm not that worried about that. Big O, who's going to be Tua's backup? I don't know. We'll find out, my friend. We'll find out. Edmonds went from Central Dolphins High School in Hamburg, Pennsylvania to the Dolphins. There you go. Big O, I like that running back. He's also a truck type of runner. Yeah, no, he runs hard, bro. Yeah, 5.1 yards per carry. One guy's putting. He's good, man. I like him. Well, no, it doesn't. Jesus, I wouldn't make it the end of Duke Johnson. I don't think they're going to wear out one back. So I would like to bring back Duke. Duke's not going to cost you much. So there's no hurry to sign Duke right now. You understand? He's in that second and third waves after you've gone for the important stuff, the priority stuff. And Chase Edmonds is more of a priority right now. He's a better player right now than Duke, but I do like Duke. I do. Joseph Blassetti, thank you, my friend. I appreciate you giving us some love here on the Super Chat. He says, big Finns fan here in Bangkok. Thank you, sir. How about that? See? One night in Bangkok and you're whatever. So there you go. Joseph, thank you. I love it, bro. You love hearing seeing where people are listening and watching the show, and it's everywhere in this country, and then it's all over the world. It is the coolest thing how we've made this small, how South Florida sports fans around the world can tune into one show and get everything that they want. Panthers and Heat and Dolphins and Canes and Marlins and Inter Miami, who can't score with a fistful of dollars in a whorehouse. You name it, you're going to get it here. It's awesome. It's awesome. And it's really cool to get the response from all of you out there from all over the world. Let's see. What else do we have? Watching from Connecticut, says Cian. Big O International. I don't know about international, but we're connecting to many all over, baby. Miguel says hello from Kissimmee, Florida. There you go. I like it. We'll be there. We'll be there soon. We'll be there soon. I have friends in the Disney area, so I every once in a while I like going up to Disney and hanging out for a couple days. And I'll do it, and I'll do the show from the ESPN club in Disney's Boardwalk, and we'll probably be able to do that and connect with our folks here with Sean, unless Sean wants to go up there too. I don't know. I don't know if Sean wants to go up to Disney too and hang out. We'll see how this whole thing works out. Jay is in the Virgin Islands. I like it. John is in Los Angeles. Transportation Solution says hello from Battleground, Washington. Nice. Jarvis got released. Landry got cut, huh? Now, that's not a bad move. If Landry isn't asking for a world of money, if you can get Jarvis Landry to play the slot and move Waddle to the outside, that would actually work out. I mean, I love, as you all know, I've talked about Jamison Crowder, and he won't cost as much as Landry. But that one's good. So the Bengals plan to sign Alex Kappa. Deshaun Watson is set to meet with the Panthers and the Saints in the next 48 hours. The Packers have released Billy Turner and Zadarius Smith. Emmanuel Ogbah agreed to a 4-year deal worth $16 million per season, $32 million guaranteed with the Miami Dolphins. So those are some of the moves, and the Dolphins agreed to terms with Chase Edmonds, the running back of the Arizona Cardinals. So I like it. Solid moves so far for the Miami Dolphins right now. I like what they've been able to do. Will says, keep up the great work, Big O. Been looking for a regular Dolphins news for ages. Love from Birmingham, England. I like it. Out in Birmingham. Nice. Very nice. You know where, now that you say, when you say Birmingham, obviously you think of if I'm correct, I think Black Sabbath their origins are from Birmingham. But when I hear England and I hear Birmingham, England, somehow or another, I don't know why, and I don't know exactly where it's at, what city right now off the top of my head, but the Hammersmith Odeum is like that. Like that's a place that I keep thinking about, it's a bucket list type place. Like I always think about it and go, I got to go 1 year to England once, and I got to see a concert at the Hammersmith Odeum, right? It's still open, right? Isn't that like a legendary place? Like every time I hear the Motorhead one live at the Hammersmith Odeum, I just always think about going there. So help me, my friends across the pond. What city is the Hammersmith Odeum in? And is it still open? Look it up, Sean. Hammersmith Odeum. Tell me if it has a concert listing to it. Tell me what concerts are coming up to the Hammersmith Odeum. Hell, pull it up on the screen. We can see it as long as it's, that is London. Okay, good. I got to go once because every time, it's just like, it's like a legendary place. I think about all the damn time. Every time I see a band that was there or a record that they recorded there, it's like, I'm like, I got to go to this place. And it's probably a dump, but it's probably one of those classic dumps, like that you can't, it's just beautiful. The acoustics are probably amazing, building's old as hell, but the acoustics still sound great, that kind of shit. Oh, I love it. I would like the Juice to come back, and Waddle running routes would drive defenses crazy. I agree. Big O, you definitely need to go to the Krakow, Poland. You will love the food and our culture. All right. Well, I already love you guys for what you've done for the Ukrainian people. I mean, that's just amazing. Really is. Krakow, Poland. All right. Oh, in the history of rock, would you agree that the Brits have better rock bands than we do? God, dude. I mean, yeah. I mean, listen. It kind of all depends. You know what I'm saying? Let me explain what I'm talking about. Okay. When we start talking about the heart of rock and roll, well, it starts with the Beatles. So obviously, where did they come from? Liverpool, right? So yes, England has an edge in that sense from the Yardbirds and all the other types of bands that came out. Hell, Jimi Hendrix wasn't appreciated here and had to go there to go make a name for himself first there in England to then come back here and become a legend. So, yeah, you would have to give the nod to them. But now, here's the thing. Okay, so what kind of rock are we talking about now? Okay, so here's where now you got to follow me now. Okay, are we going punk? We go England. Are we going what's that beach type, Beach Boys type of rock, all that? We're coming here to the United States, right? So it kind of depends on what kind of rock we're talking about, because I would also argue that some of the metal bands came from the early metal bands, came from England, obviously. Think about it. The Beatles are the heart and soul of rock and roll. They are the root of the tree, and then it comes out. Black Sabbath is the heart and soul of metal, and then it comes out, right? So England's got that over everybody. I mean, New Wave, the Smiths and Depeche Mode and The Cure, and the heart and soul is from across the pond. So there are a couple of genres that maybe the U.S. might have a little bit of an advantage over, but in the basest of it, the base of music, of rock, a lot of it is over there. The blues are here. you know? So it depends. There are certain different types of music that maybe we might have a slight edge on it, but the heart and soul of rock and roll, England by far. It's not even close. Now maybe hair metal. Okay, the United States has got that edge. You know what I mean? Normal metal, England's got the edge. That's obviously. But yeah, it all depends on how you look at it. But yeah, they've got to be the grandfathers when it's all said and done. You've got to tip your hat. What's gone on across the pond is as special as it gets, man. But that's part of the influences. Let's see. What's your favorite pizza topping, Tony Kornheiser 2.0? Yeah, no, we're not doing that. Big O, Bills tackle, Darrell Williams, any good? Yes. He's a good player. Thank you, Jesse. Very nice of you. Some people are going to get hammered, just saying. We're at the Hammersmith Odeum. Poison, we win. Let's see. Beatles, Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin, Iron Maiden, Def Leppard. Yeah, England has the edge. Oh, there's no doubt, bro. We have the edge in a few things, but not too much. Big O, I personally think Brady and the Bucks will be just another playoff team, nothing more. As great as he's been, best ever, I think he's now chasing his tail. Well, we will find out, right? We will find out how much of the team they're going to be able to bring back. And as I said in the first hour, will this be the year that Father Time tells Brady it's over? And then he starts to look like it's over. That's the question. And that's what we don't know. By the way, we had a great time this weekend at Smoke in Pompano for the Perdomo Cigar Lounge that they opened up at 4640 North Powerline Road. Had a great time with all of people out there. I know we ended just a little short because we got hit by a storm. I mean, dude, the winds were brutal. I don't even know how the tent survived the whole deal, but we were able to make it, and we learned our lesson. By the way, we're gonna get some extra tie downs there for the tent for future purposes. Man, that was rough. That was rough. By the way, Perdomo Cigars, great cigars. You should visit the retail store right off the Palmetto at 5150 Northwest, 167th Street, right there in Miami Gardens, and tell them that Big O sent you. They will take care of you, man. Perdomo Cigars, I'm telling you, great cigars. You look right there. You're looking at the 20th anniversary, 94 rating from the Cigar Journal. That, my friends, right there is my favorite cigar, the 20th anniversary, and that one right there, the full body one. I was going to actually. And oh, by the way, I kept it in my bag. I didn't put it in my humidor yet. I did this on purpose. The listener that came by to say hi, and thank you to the listeners that came by to say hi. We had a few listeners come by to say hi. But the gentleman that bought me this pack, I don't even know your name, man. And I struggle with names. Like, I need to see you several times for me to remember your name. But I wanted to thank you for the pack, and I know you watch and listen religiously, and thank you so much for it. I really appreciate you. Thank you, and thank you for being so kind to my wife also, because I know you were my wife. You were talking with my wife while I was on the air, and you were telling her about the show and all that. And so thank you very much, sir. And I don't know if you can put your name on the chat board or something, but thank you, sir, for coming by and say this gentleman had asthma, and he went inside a cigar bar to buy me this pack of cigars. I just, and I don't remember him telling me his name. I shook hands with him. I took a picture, all that stuff. and I don't remember. And I had so much stuff going on that day, and we were so, worried about the tent and the weather and all that I guess my mind was a little occupied. But sir, thank you very much, man. So kind of you to not just come to visit, but then buy. And you have asthma, and you walked in to buy this, and that just says enough. It says, so much about you, sir. You're an amazing person. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Big Ho, have you heard the new Ghost album? Yes, I have. And it's really good, dude. I watched the opening, that video where they did like 3 or 4 songs, and it was excellent. I ordered it already on Amazon. So I'm waiting for my album to get here. Yes, I still order CDs. As long as they're still around, I'm going to buy the hard copy. Yes, I'm a wacko. What can I tell you? But it is what it is. And yeah, Juice, I watched the Tua workout. I saw him flick the wrist for 50 yards with no problem to Lynn Bowden Jr. We talked about that on Friday or Saturday. We talked about it on Saturday's show. Yes, we did. All right, you know what we're going to talk about? We're going to talk about a little Miami Dolphins. We got some news. Ogba's in. Chase Edmonds in. Let's talk to Joe Shad. Let's see what he thinks about the Dolphins move with our AmericanDreamLending.com Miami Dolphins report.
Dolphins fans, buckle up. It's time for the American Dream Lending Miami Dolphins report with Joe Shad. When you're ready to purchase a new home or refinance the one you have, American Dream Lending will make sure your loan experience is easy with fast approvals and quick closings. Call them at 786-802-1727 or online at adreamlending.com. Here's Joe Shad with today's edition of the American Dream Lending report.
There we are. All righty. Joe Shad, how are you doing, sir? How you feeling? You feeling better?
Yeah, a little bit better, Big O. Thanks for asking. I'm glad that free agency didn't start last week.
I know. Me too. Me too, man. I'm glad that you are feeling better and more energized and ready to go. So now you have the juice to now you have the edge you need now to cover this Dolphin free agency. So, if we had to pull out Joe Shad's grade book, and right now Joe Shad is the teacher, don't stand too close to him now. So, Joe Shad, what is the grade for Emmanuel Ogbah being re-signed?
I'm going to give that a B+, Big O. It is a very reasonable contract for a player who is proven in the system, who has 18 sacks in the last 2 years for the Miami Dolphins, who is the perfect size, 6'4", 275, to be able to not only rush the passer and knock down passes from the opposing quarterback, but also to hold up against the run. And this is a guy who comes without character questions. This is a guy who is a very solid individual, a good person, a good team leader. And in looking at the types of players who received similar contracts, I'm trying to find the list here in my story. I know Donnell Hunter was in that list. Carl Lawson was in that list. So this is a very reasonable contract for Trey Hendrickson, Eric Armstead. I'll take Emmanuel Ogbah over any of those guys. And I know Hendrickson.
Trey Hendrickson is.
Yeah, he's a beast as a pass rusher. He's an FAU kid who's done really well for the Bengals and Saints. But listen, Ogbah.
Yes, I believe he has 30 sacks or something like that in the last 2 years. I mean,
yeah, Ogbah as a free agent absolutely deserves to be in the same sphere as a Trey Hendrickson. So the Dolphins, as was just pointed out to me on Twitter so far, following my suggestions, I mean, it seemed quite obvious, Big O, that the best
why not
re-sign Ogbah and tag Gesicki. Re-sign
okay, but wait a minute.
Ogbah,
here's the only thing I don't understand. How's it not an A?
What did I say?
How can re-signing Ogbah to a decent contract, you got your guy back? How is that not an A, Joe? How do you not give him an A for bringing back Ogbah? I don't get that one.
So you want to argue about a B+ versus an A?
I'm just saying. I give him an A for that. I love the fact that you brought him back.
Well, maybe it would have been an A. What if they had been able?
They're following what Joe Shad said. They're following what the teacher says. If the student listens to the teacher, isn't the student supposed to get an A, teacher?
Right. So I'm a tough grader. Let's see what they do here moving forward. Maybe they would have gotten an A, Big O, if they had gotten him for a little bit less earlier in the process. Maybe if they had the foresight to sign and extend Ogba a little bit earlier. But like I said, Orlando Alzagari, this is a good decision by the Miami Dolphins. It's one that I recommended and suggested. And high marks for Chris Grier. So you're going to have to find something else to try to
rough
argue
teacher you are, bro. Damn, you're a rough teacher, bro. Jesus. That student did his homework, scored 100 on this, and you gave him an 85 anyway. It's just
a
that's
B
just
plus.
cruel.
A B plus.
Tell you, that's just cruel. All right, Chase Edmonds. So we talked about a lot of backs. Chase Edmonds wasn't one that was really talked a lot about. I'm actually a fan of Chase Edmonds, man. Watching him at Zona at times, I always wondered why they didn't give him more love because he was pretty consistent with them. So your thoughts on Chase Edmonds getting a 2-year, $12.6 million deal?
More excited about Chase Edmonds than I was about a Jordan Howard, for example, or Malcolm Brown, for example. Edmonds has been a little bit banged up. He's not the biggest guy, but he's a good receiver, and he's going to be a good fit for the zone offense. So if Mike McDaniel, and I know he watched every single snap Chase Edmonds has ever taken in his life, if Mike McDaniel said, listen, this is the guy we want, this guy is the perfect fit for my scheme, then I am on board. Now, that's a decent chunk of change. We'll have to see how much is guaranteed. I don't know if that's reported yet. But the Dolphins needed a running back. I have been criticizing Dolphins general manager Chris Grier for failing to add an elite running back or someone who can be elite. And so credit to the Dolphins for coming out of the box with a running back, in the first hour of free agency. So some said that the Dolphins were not going to prioritize running back.
Not here.
Some said,
not here.
I'm not
on this show.
I'm not saying that on the America Dream lending report that Big O suggested that running back would not be a priority. I'm saying others suggested that perhaps Chris Grier would never change course and spend on a running back. He has spent here on a running back. And if Mike McDaniel likes Chase Edmonds, I like Chase Edmonds.
Yeah. And by the way, I've said this throughout the entire thing. When they got rid of this dude, you will see them make an investment now in the running back position. The guy that was here was the one that was cock blocking everything. And he's the one that wanted to go cheap because that's kind of where he came from. You know, they go cheap in that position. They rarely ever commit. They've done a couple times that they've drafted a running back high, not a running back that gets high like Ricky. No, we're talking about high like in the pick.
Well, they might have gone Javonte Williams instead of Javon Holland last year if he had been on the board.
Say that again?
Remember the guy Javonte Williams that the Broncos
North Carolina? Yeah.
So you'd rather get one in the draft, but this does not preclude the Dolphins from adding a running back.
You'd rather have Holland over any running back.
Well, yeah, it worked out well. No, it worked out very well. Javon Holland is a stud.
Yeah. Plus, running backs are, apparently the Dolphins can find actual young Pro Bowl safeties. Apparently they have a knack for that because they got one and they were forced to trade him, and then they got another one. So I was just about to tell you, running backs are easy to find, but shit, looks like the Dolphins can find young free safeties. Like it's really easy for them. Think about that, man. They've drafted two of the best young safeties in the NFL in the last 4 years. Right.
The Dolphins also brought back Savon Ahmed at an under-the-radar restricted free agent. And that didn't cost them a lot of money.
Why?
But I'm here to tell you that Ahmed could be in the mix, really firmly in the mix for the Dolphins' number 3 running back position. I like that signing, a little sneaky under the radar, Savon Ahmed, who lost. It is interesting, because Eric Studesville comes back. And so was the decision to not play Savon Ahmed at all at the end of last season, was that not actually Stoodsville? Was that Godsey and Flores? There's all these weird, complicated
remember,
layers. Some guys coming back.
He has history with McDaniel because that's where he came from. So that since he's a San Francisco kid, he already knew the system.
He coached Ahmed?
Yeah, dude. We got Ahmed from San Francisco. That's why they kept him, because he knows the system. So when they're running and practicing it, he'll be able to be kind of a teacher on the field and battle for, like what you said, that third running back spot, since he has the mental edge over everybody because he's been in the system and he's been coached by Mike McDaniel.
I just like him as a player too. He's really fast. Like, okay, Savon Ahmed should be what Matt Breida was at his best. And Matt Breida did a lot for the 49ers when Mike McDaniel was there. Matt Breida said that he would love to come back and play, but, why not, come play for Mike McDaniel again? But why not give Ahmed, who's younger, explosive, has less tread, a chance to do some of the things that Matt Breida would do? But I still like the Dolphins using a second or third round pick on a running back if there's a good one on the board. Let's really commit to the run. And by the end of the day, I want to see at least one tackle, hopefully Teron Armstead. And,
Joe, would you rather sign Teron Armstead or, again, now we're playing fantasy because I don't know if he's available or not, but if you could get a Tunsil for a first round for your 29th pick, do you give away?
I don't think it's happening. I don't think it's my
it's fantasy.
It's my educated opinion. That's not happening. So if you want to go the fantasy route, let's get all fired up about this. What if the Dolphins add Teron Armstead and La'el Collins? Now you've completely rebuilt the outside of your offensive line. You still want to add a guard or a center, but imagine how much better the Dolphins' offensive line would be with those two guys. I know you're worried about Armstead's injury concerns. But
I worry about Collins too. I worry about his. This is a guy that dodged drug tests.
So you still have a guy like Hunt who can play tackle if necessary, and you still have Jackson and Eichenberg on the roster who can play tackle if necessary. But let's get established, proven NFL veterans. That is going to fire me up so much if the Dolphins can do that, Big O.
I was talking about Ben Jones, actually. That's what I want on the O-line at center.
The center guard?
The Titans center. I think he would be fantastic for Tua and would solidify the middle of that line. Since they can't get, obviously, Jensen now that he's staying with Tampa Bay, Jones would be the next guy that I would go after also. I'd rather have him than La'el Collins.
They're going to add a center. They got to add a center who's good for this particular scheme. Dieter is a guard. And so
he can be your backup center. You battle for guard and be your backup center to Ben Jones. And then this is what I'm thinking, Joe. If you make a move for a left tackle, you get your right tackle. So if you make a move for Teron Armstead, I believe Eichenberg becomes your right tackle, because a few of the guys that I know that are either in the league or out of the league that have coached offensive lines, they told me all year, and they don't know each other. Like 3 different dudes told me that guy's the right tackle, not the left tackle. So I'm going to go with them because they've coached these kind of players before. I believe Eichenberg is going to become the right tackle once they get their left tackle. That's what I think is going to happen.
And I'm fine with that. Eichenberg was drafted to play right tackle, even though he had a streak of 30-plus games at left tackle for Notre Dame without a sack. It is strange. I just think I almost want to throw away last year. I just burn that tape. Just
100% with you.
And it's kind of weird. It's kind of weird that the offensive line coach is still around, and he's a nice guy.
No, but he's fourth in line, Joe. That's fine. It's where he's in a learning phase. That's good for him, and I'm happy for him in that sense. This is where he should be. They put him in it's not his. I don't blame him for last year. I blame Flo because he did not have the contacts to get a real offensive line coach. So he put a young guy that wasn't prepared for it. So I like that McDaniel is giving him a chance to learn and grow under him. I think that's fantastic.
I just think in general, the meshing of the returning coaches and the new coaches is kind of a sneaky under the radar thing that we're going to have to watch. I don't know. It's kind of like when your girlfriend moves into your apartment and she's like, it doesn't really feel like my apartment. Like you've been living here and you have all your stuff on the wall. You know what I mean? Like
you get the divorce, but you can't afford to move out, so you still got to share the house, that kind of stuff. I'm with you, bro.
It's a little.
You're 100% right.
It's a little weird. I mean, I like Eric Studesville and I like all the defensive guys they brought back. But they're gonna have to work through.
Well, that's kind of, I think, what McDaniel does over the next couple of years. He gets to assess those guys, and then that way he gets to kind of remold that side of the ball slowly but surely in the way he likes. But for now, they have to fix the offense, and the defense wasn't really broken. So I understand the method behind the madness. Young coaches have trouble building, coaching staffs. So if he can go out there and have success now, he will be able to get more coaches and build the defensive side of the ball or the special team side of the ball to his liking, once he starts proving. But as you know, Joe, these young coaches, man, if they don't prove they can win, you're not going to get those veteran coaches to come on board and help you out because they feel like it's a sinking ship.
Dolphins defense should be very good. Think about the front seven with Ogba returning. You bring back Christian Wilkins. You bring back Zach Sealer. You bring back Raekwon Davis. You bring back Andrew Van Ginkel. You bring back Jalen Phillips. This should be a top 10 defense. Absolutely, without a doubt, needs to be a top 10 defense. Whether or not it's Xavier Howard and Byron Jones, or Byron Jones and a J.C. Jackson, or Xavier Howard and a J.C. Jackson, whatever it is, I'm not worried about the defense. The focus today and tomorrow and Wednesday, I don't even care about the receiver. I mean, would you like to add a Christian Kirk or a DJ Chark? Sure.
Chark, I would love to add DJ Chark.
But that's not the priority. I don't care how. Listen, if I'm Chris Greer, I don't care how much it costs. You got to add a guy like Armstead.
Yeah. No, I'm with you there. I agree with you 100% on that. You've got to watch, obviously, what's going on, bringing all these coaches together, and I'm with you on having to improve this line. You've got to make a couple of additions now and straighten this thing out. And I'm with you. You're entering a year where, actually, here's where I would add to what you said. You're not worried about the defense? No. The defense needs to get better by adding a middle linebacker and a thumper. If you can get somebody that can help you in the run, then you should be a better defense this year. And if you get help on the line in the running game, then you should be a much better offense this year.
Well, listen, if the Dolphins sign,
this is not a year of rebuild. You have a foundation that you can build on to get better, and that's what McDaniel has to do.
If the Dolphins add an impact linebacker, somebody who can run, cover, hit, all that good stuff, like the Seahawks, dude, if they're able to sign an impact linebacker, now all of a sudden, there's no excuses for Josh Boyer. You must have a top 5 defense in yards, points, turnovers, sacks, picks, everything.
I'm with you.
Top 5.
I'm with you.
No excuses. No
That's
excuse. He's got everything he needs. The draft and free agency, you want to add a linebacker, I like it. But the draft and free agency needs to be about fixing the offense. And I trust Mike McDaniel to identify. And by the way, I like Josh Boyer's personnel evaluation. Who liked, Nick Needham, right? That was a Josh Boyer. Zach Sealer, that was Josh Boyer. He identifies players, all right, who can do some really good things.
I'm with you there.
Like the player evaluation.
You're on a roll. Outside of Tua and not giving the Ogba re-signing an A, I'm with you on everything else. That's it. I'm with you on everything. A plus, what A minus? You got to give him an A, bro. An A. Ogba deserves an A. He's back, baby. He's back. And so is Joe Shad. And he'll be back later on in the week. Follow him on Twitter at Shad Joe. More importantly, please subscribe to the Palm Beach Post and support Joe and all the great writers there. And they do a great job covering your Miami Dolphins and other teams there at the Palm Beach Post. Joe, we will catch you later in the week, my friend. Enjoy. Don't work too hard.
Thanks, bud. See you.
You got it, baby. There you go. Joe Shad. We love him AmericanDreamLending.com.
When you're ready to purchase a new home or refinance the one you have, American Dream Lending will make sure your loan experience is easy with fast approvals and quick closings. With many loan programs and competitive rates, now is the time to turn your dreams into reality. Ask about special financing for veterans. They never charge an application fee and you will work directly with one of their experienced loan professionals. Stop dreaming and contact American Dream Lending today. 786-802-1727 or online at adreamlending.com.
Oh, it's the power of pollen. Yeah, baby. Go to naturebee.com. I feel the power of pollen every day. That's what gives me the edge. That's right. Not just the energy drink, but the power of pollen right there. You can order it at naturebee.com. Use my code Big O so you can get free shipping. I tell you about all kinds of stuff. I tell you about the soaps. I tell you about the wrinkle cream. I tell you about the lip balm. I mean, they've got so many different products, but the Nature Bee plant pollen, it's all natural, grown in clean, green New Zealand, straight from Mother Earth, baby. So there are no chemicals, no dudes, no women in lab coats making this stuff up. No, no, no. Mother Nature, baby. 100%, which is great for the kids. It's great for the adults. It doesn't matter. My daughter's been taking it for years. I've been taking it for 20 years. Nature Bee is for me. 27 vitamins and amino acids, 28 minerals and powerful antioxidants. Watch your hair grow stronger and faster. Watch your nails grow faster and stronger than ever, folks. Feel the energy through your body all day long. And my favorite thing, the main reason why I get Nature Bee every time, boost the immune system. And in today's, I've been taking it for 20 years. But now that we're in this virus-filled world, by the way, there's apparently another COVID strain that's developing again, which we may end up creating another wave. Folks, get Nature Bee in this virus-filled world, whether you're boosted or not boosted, whether you're vaccinated or not vaccinated. Either way, you can't have enough protection. Nature Bee, that protects you. This is why I rarely ever get a cold. And when I get it, it's only by freakish things that could happen. But normally, Nature Bee protects me every day. Go to the website, naturebee.com, and use my code Big O to get free shipping. 1 month supply, 3 month supply, 6 month supply, 66-year supply. Get it, baby. naturebee.com. All right. Agba signed for your car. We know greater good. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, we know, Sam Roke. We know. We've been talking about it for like almost an hour now. ESPN gives Agba signing a B+. Well, Chip and Joe Shad are way off on that. It's an A. How can you not give it an A? How do you not grade out getting Agba back? A guy that gets you sacks, bats balls down, helps you against the run. I'm not telling you he's this great run stopper, but he's a good run stopper. How is that not an A? You know what I mean? So just crazy, dude. What else do we have here on oh, by the way, what's the latest? Well, we're still over 39,000 in Bitcoin. Just in case, if you're wondering what's going on. What else do we have here? Big O, what do you think of signing Bobby Wagner to the team? I mean, on a 1-year signing, if you can't get a younger middle linebacker, yeah, what the hell? I mean, it's not bad. He's old already at this point. That odometer's gone around twice. But is it better than what you have now? Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean, if you can't get a younger player, yeah. You're not going to spend a ton of money on Bobby Wagner, and you're not going to give him a long-term contract. So this will be a 1-year deal, maybe a 2-year deal, which is what Chris loves to do, where that second year is kind of flexible and it's really more security for the team than the player. those kind of 2-year deals that I like that Chris Greer does, yeah, I would like that. That wouldn't be bad if you can get a younger linebacker. Now, we all have to understand this. If you get a Bobby Wagner at this point, he might still be a solid player, or he could be breaking down on you. He's got a lot of mileage on him. It's a very risky signing, okay? It could end up becoming a productive – remember Carlos Dansby, that the Dolphins got him in the latter part of his career, but he still played pretty good football, right? Something like that. It's a risk. It could go either way. It could end up working out for you, and he'll be a solid player. He's not going to be a great player anymore. You can forget about all of that. But if he can be a solid player, yeah, I think it's not a bad option. I'm not going to call it a terrible signing. So there you go. Let's see. What grade did you give Joe? What grade did Joe give? Oh, he gave it a B, which unacceptable. Okay. Unacceptable. Yes, sir.
We can take one quarterback's name off the list of being a backup to Tua. Mitchell Trubisky has reached a 2-year deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Thank God. Thank God the Pittsburgh Steelers are the dumbasses. All right, good.
He heads to Pittsburgh as the expected starter in place of the retired Ben Roethlisberger.
Okay.
Now from Mike Garafolo.
Knock yourselves out. My boy Mike. Really good dude, by the way. Mitch Dolphin says, Big O, the ones not grading the Ogba signing an A are only looking at him as not being the guy getting 15 sacks a year. The sacks are the flash stats that these are talking heads care about. Well, all I know is for the Dolphins, Mitch, that was a great signing. I give it an A+++. It's not like you could sign Aaron Donald right now. Okay, so that's the only way it becomes an A is if you can go out and get a 20-sack guy at this time. And he gets a ton of batted passes, which he gets more than most, by the way. And people don't give him credit for that. And he should be getting credit for that because all we ever did was talk about JJ SWAT. So he does plenty of swatting too. I think the Ogba signing is an A+. I think it's a freaking awesome signing for our Dolphins. I think it makes Jalen Phillips better. It allows Jalen Phillips to get to 10+ sacks this year. That's what that does. And for me, that's important. I love that signing, man. That guy, Ogba, I admire the hell out of Ogba, man. He has played hard every minute that I watch him. And even when he's not getting the sacks and he's got the pressures or he's right there, it never deters him on the next down. It's the same energy, man. Love what I saw from Ogba. So I'm a huge fan of that signing. George says, Carlos Dansby, exactly the guy I was liking Wagner too if he was to stay healthy. Great job, Big O. But then again, it could end up being Josh Sitton. Okay. You sign him from Green Bay. You think he's going to help you out on the line, but he's had ankle issues the last 2 years. And sure enough, the ankle injuries reared its ugly head again. And you know what I'm saying? So that's the thing, George. It could turn out Carlos Dansby and it could turn out Josh Sitton. Tough. So all the deals are rated A by the homers, but they can't explain why the Finns never win. Cliff, they won last year. They weren't losers. They won more than they lost last year. They didn't win a Super Bowl. They didn't get in the playoffs, but they had a winning record. They're not a losing team, right? So you've won, 19 games the last 2 years? I don't think that's a losing team. 3 years ago, okay, they won 5 games. But if you won 19 games the last 2 years, I can't call you a terrible team. But I get it. You probably hate the Dolphins or you're frustrated and you figure that this is your chance to take a shot. So you're going to take a shot. That's fine. Knock yourselves out. Big O, do you like Jameson Williams at 29, even though coming off injury? Yes. Yes. The receiver you're talking about? Yes. He's a hell of a player. Knee injuries like torn ligaments nowadays, they don't scare me that much anymore. Those can be repaired easily. Listen to me. ACLs, they can be repaired easily. So I'm not worried about that. He's super young. They're spry. Now, if he was 31 with an ACL injury, yeah, I might be a little concerned. But a young man like him, no, not worried at all. Dude, we saw Willis McGahee's knee go inverted. And I'm standing at the podium in the combine like 6 months later or whatever it is, 5 months later, and I'm watching Willis McGahee walk to the podium. And the place went nuts. ACLs can be fixed. That's not a death sentence anymore. It used to be, not anymore. Big O, all these microwave Dolphin fans complain about any player who's not perfect. Agba deserves a contract. Hell yeah, he deserves a contract, and I'm glad he's back. I love it. I think it's a great signing. Okay? Emilio says, oh, just ignore the little boys and trolls. Oh, I know Liam would be a better fit at right tackle, but do you think bringing in someone like Armstead or Trent Brown next to Hunt would be better? I don't believe Trent Brown fits this. Okay? I disagree with a lot of you out there that think that Trent Brown fits this blocking scheme. I don't believe he does. All right? Now, as for the other guy, he fits it. I do worry about his injury history. The Teron Armstead, just in case, let me prepare you guys for this. Okay? I'm not going to call it a great signing. I will call it a solid signing. And I won't call it a great signing because he is very injury prone. Not kind of, not somewhat, very injury prone. He can never play an entire season. Listen to me again. He can never play an entire season. It's a problem. So I like him. I know he can play, but I also know he can't stay healthy. And that's the issue. So let's see what happens. All right, we're waiting. Marcel Louis Jacques. He is finishing up a story, and then he will call us and get in, and then we will probably wrap up after Marcel. By the way, can I just throw this out there? You know, I think in general, as parents, I think we do a really crappy job with our kids. And I think we haven't made our generations here tough enough. And while I believe that depression does exist, of course it exists, and that people suffer from it, there's no doubt in my mind. But I also think we've created soft generations because we've coddled our kids way too much. And we haven't taught them enough about how tough life is, how tough life will be. You know, I get that bullying goes on and all those kind of things, and we've got to eliminate it, of course. But you're going to have to deal with all kinds of adversity your entire life. And, you know, when I watched Naomi Osaka over the weekend, and she's breaking down in the middle of a heckler, and I think about, you know, hecklers are things that are part of sports, and you got to get used to it, man. And I know that poor girl's been dealing with stuff, but I got to tell you, man, this is a different world, man. Different world. The skin is so thin nowadays compared to what we grew up with. It's night and day. You know, because I look at Naomi Osaka and then I think about Jackie Robinson. And oh my God. If Ben Simmons and Naomi Osaka had to go through what Jackie Robinson had to go through, what every minority has had to go through over life, women, homosexuals, you know what I mean? And nowadays it's, wow, I just, the threshold of toughness is just not there, you know? And just to tell Naomi yesterday, when you're breaking down and crying, it's not the moment to say that the hecklers aren't getting to you. If they weren't getting to you, you wouldn't have gotten on the mic. If they weren't getting to you, you would have not broken down on the mic. And I feel for her, but the best thing she does is just walk off the court and ignore them. What you just did now was fuel the fire. And I just think of prior athletes and everything that they've had to go through 40, 50, 60 years ago. And I just think of today's athlete, and I'm like, man, they could never handle what others had to handle back in the day. Can you imagine? Moses is like in front of Hitler, you know, performing in the Olympics, a minority, and in front of, you know, the guy that, you know, is the image of the devil on the face of the earth. Jim Abbott has got one arm, and he's pitching against the Cuban national team in Cuba. There are a bunch of 18-year-olds going up against a bunch of grown-ass men that are 30 years old, and half of them should be in the majors. And he's mowing them down in front of the communist country. And he ended up making the dictator, thank God he's dead, that idiot actually stood up and clapped and gave Jim Abbott a standing ovation. Just the things, the toughness that I see sometimes. Michael Chang all cramped up against Yvonne Lendl. And there are things that I just remember in the past that when I look at today's athlete and how they could just walk away from the game. Oh, I need time off and all that. Can you imagine if Jackie Robinson didn't fight the good fight and said, nah, I need to walk away? Different world, bro. Different world. I got to say. All right, let's get into a little Dolphins talk. Let's get the edge. Time to get the edge. With a little Edge energy drink, you can go to myedgedrink.com, or you can hear from Marcel Louis Jacques from ESPN and our Edge energy drink, Miami Dolphins report.
Time to get the edge on the Miami Dolphins with our Edge Energy Drink Miami Dolphins report. When you want the energy drink that's delicious and smooth with zero aftertaste, you can only order Edge Energy Drink at myedgedrink.com. That's myedgedrink.com. Here's ESPN Dolphin insider Marcel Louis Jacques.
All righty, there he is. The man that is got the Chase Edmonds fan club going. I think he established it already. He's ready to go. How you doing, first of all, my friend? You doing all right?
Oh, man, this is what I was praying for last night. I said, get these out the way right now, like right off the bat. When 12 o'clock, when that bell rings, I want to see 3-4 signings. I want a couple texts on my phone. Like, I want to get this done now. I hate when free agency lingers. They got the big one out the way 10 minutes before tampering began. They got the second biggest one out the way about 5 minutes after 12. From a reporter standpoint, man, I'm I'm thrilled, man. This is about as good as it could have been.
Well, first of all, talk to us about Chase Edmonds. You sent me a text that you're a big fan, and I'm with you on this. I like him as a fantasy player. He's one of those guys. I always wondered, like, he's like the Rodney Dangerfield of the backfield, like never really got enough respect. And I really feel he fits this scheme really, really well. So tell me what you like about the Chase Edmonds signing.
It's a guy who can do a lot of different things with the football in his hands. They need two things because, obviously Miami was 30th in the league in rushing last year, but they had a top 10 run blocking unit in terms of just run block win rate. Whether, you want to put much credence to it or not, it was more of a running back issue than an offensive line issue in terms of run blocking, not pass protection, in terms of run blocking. So they needed a running back right off the gate. And then they need playmakers, man. There's a reason why they're willing to pay Ksdt on the franchise tag. But beyond him, beyond Jalen Waddle, there are not a lot of guys, not any guys on this offense who could do something after the catch. So Chase Edmonds right now checks off two boxes as a runner and as a playmaker. 5.1 yards per carry last year. He's a guy 25 years old, basically no tread on his tires, man. 333 career carries. He's never been used as a feature back, but that's wonderful because Mike McDaniel offenses don't need a feature back. Like the days of the 300 carry, 400 carry, Larry Johnson in Kansas City.
Those are done. Yeah, that's only in Tennessee is the only place where they still have a resemblance of that. And of course, if I have Derrick Henry, why wouldn't I want to run your ass over? You know what I'm saying? That makes sense there.
Yeah, it's not if you don't have Derrick Henry, if you don't have Jonathan Taylor, and even Taylor to an extent.
I'm not comfortable with Taylor being that guy. I know he's been awesome, but I wouldn't want to be a bell cow with Taylor. He had his share of injuries also, so it's one of those things you gotta be concerned about with him. Derrick Henry's just a freak, dude. I mean, they don't build him like
you got to ride that out while you can. But no, like the Dolphins, I want to make it very clear here that just because running back is a need does not mean that they're not deep at running back. They needed a starter at running back. They don't necessarily need depth. So we don't need to see, if I'm the Dolphins, we don't need to see Chase Edmonds carry the ball, touch the ball 400 some odd times. He could touch it 15-ish times a game, and then you can, delegate from there. There's still Myles Gaskin on staff. There's still Savon Ahmed was tendered. You could still, I wouldn't want to get rid of Duke Johnson. I think Duke Johnson running between.
I agree.
I think he was a better battering ram type back than Malcolm Brown was last year. Malcolm Brown, I felt like when he was healthy, and this is something that I even noticed in the preseason before the announcement was made that I was moving from Buffalo to Miami. I was watching them in the preseason. Malcolm Brown feels like, he's Reggie Bush up here, and then, Lendale White from the head down. He's a bruising running back that
let's do it. Let's do it right now because I can do this because I'm fat. It's Lendale White.
Hey, look, man, I love me some Lendale White. I'll never disrespect him. He
ate his way out of the league. Okay, that was one guy.
Lendale White. Look, I grew up a USC fan. That was my favorite college football. To what people out here, y'all look at those Canes teams and what the 01, I think it was. Canes, that's how I look at the 2005 USC team. So like that's my I would.
Oh, he froze. He is frozen in time. All right, there we go. You were gushing over. You were gushing over Lendale White. What were you saying?
You see what happens when the thought of even disrespecting that team comes up? The internet says,
No. It froze because you were actually trying to compliment Lendale White. That's not. See, notice how it's not freezing while I'm ripping Lendale, but it froze while you tried to. Because the football gods were like, slow down, young man. We know you're a fan, but fan is for fanatical. Don't get too fanatical.
I don't get a lot of opportunities. I don't get a lot of opportunities to be a fan anymore. Man, like that's I'm not complaining. I have a wonderful job, but like because of the job, I don't look at the game in the same way anymore. So like I'm gonna take my opportunities to appreciate my folks.
Was there any truth that Lendale would go in between Randy's Donuts and what's the name of the Roscoe's right down the block. It's just a couple blocks away. It's just right there. Randy's and Roscoe's, Randy Roscoe's right there, man.
Hey,
Now,
look,
you'll
he
eat
still
your
made
way out of
it to the
any.
league.
Okay.
He was still a 1,000-yard. He was still a 1,000-yard rusher in the NFL. So, I think that's one of the last 1,000 seasons that we've seen. Like as far as
really?
I'd have to check my math here, but I'm fairly certain he and Chris Johnson split
I
like
don't
that.
know if Lendale White or Lenwell was really a 1,000-yard back.
I think he had 1 year. I think he had 1 year.
Oh, he did. He did 244 the first year, 1110 the second year, 773, and then 222. So yeah, he got 1 year where he got 1110 and 7 touchdowns on 3.7 yards per carry, but that is a lot of weight to carry. So it's not really. I gotta commend him to get 3.7 yards on that weight. So that's pretty good.
Those are real workhorse numbers, man. Like 3.7 yards and you're still at 1,100. Yeah. Man, like that's a lot of carries. But either way, we get off track here. That the point is, Malcolm Brown was.
We could definitely use him to plow some. We could definitely use him to plow some fields. Yeah, he'd be good for that. No doubt about it. He can definitely. But all right. So, by the way, Joe Shad disrespected the Ogba signing by giving the Dolphins a B. Are you not giving the Dolphins an A for the re-signing of Ogba?
Oh man.
Pressure is on you.
That's tough, because I like the signing. Like you had to sign him. And because of that, I think that stretches the ceiling of the dollar amount that you're comfortable shelling out for him. Is Emmanuel Ogba a top 10 defensive end in the NFL right now? Is he a top 10 pass rusher right now?
Pretty close because of the batted passes.
Pretty close. It's the sack numbers might not be there, but sacks are misleading.
Not a top 10 sack artist, but he has a lot of pressures and he has a lot of batted passes. So I would tell you that he is top 20 for sure, and somewhere in that 11 to 15, 16 range probably.
That's what in my write-up I'm saying he's, you can make the argument whether or not he is a top 10 defensive end, but that is what he is being paid like. $16 million a year puts him right around, from an AAV, from an average annual value standpoint, puts him right around 8-ish, right around the Trey Hendrickson money. And the guys above him on that list are bona fide sack artists. So while 9 is nothing to scoff at, 9 is a good figure, man. If you can get 9 sacks a year for your career, you did very, very well for yourself.
How many more batted passes does he have over all those other guys? Because I think he's
disruptive dropbacks. He's the best defensive end in the league over the past 2 years. So you're not necessarily paying for sacks. You are paying for just production at the line of scrimmage. And so in terms of production at the line of scrimmage, in terms of team need, in terms of the team's financial situation, then I'm right around that B+, A- standpoint. Just because, from in a vacuum, $16 million to him might be a little bit high, but with context,
it's free agency, bro. You got to overpay in free agency.
Not to mention, man, the salary cap is rising. Like it's not going to matter this. These are going to look like bargains at but this time next year we're going to figure out even more money to spend.
But that's a smart thing you just said, dude. 16 may sound like a lot. It's really not a crazy number for that player and the production. And 2 years from now, you're right. It'll be a joke. It'll be a joke.
So like I would say, give me that A-, B+, A- feel, grade to it. I'm not, jumping out the gym, but I do think that, they're these back-to-back signings, their powers combined, that's an A for me. I don't love to grade. I don't love to grade signings before we see what they yield. Just like I don't love to grade draft picks before we see what the player is like.
Right. Yeah.
But based on fit and need, these are home runs back to back, man. Chris Greer off to a hell of a start. Let's see what else they can do. Really want to keep an eye on that Davante Adams situation, man. He's not playing on the tag. The Packers are shedding a ton of salary right now. They got rid of Zadarius Smith. They get rid of Bobby Turner. Like, they are doing what they can to make room for him. I think Aaron Rodgers, shaving a little off the top is probably going to be enough to get Davante. But if they're truly not in a good place right now from a negotiating standpoint, look, man, you could have a lot worse weapons around Tua than Jalen Waddle, Davante Adams, Chase Edmonds, and Mike Gesicki. That's a new look offense.
I like DJ Chark, bro. I know what Adams is, but like, Adams is still up there. Chark is still young, and I think he would be one, and he'll cost you a lot less. And I think you can really develop a really nice player in Chark. I like him opposite of, I would sign him. And if I could get Jamison Crowder, I would put him in the slot and move Waddle outside.
I'm also going to throw another name out that, people might roll their eyes a little bit, but it depends on what he's asking for. Beasley is still available. Beasley is still highly effective when he's involved in the game plan. Yeah. This was still back-to-back years of, I think, 800-900 yards for the Bills. He is not a flashy, sexy name. He comes with the, you're going to have to deal with his thoughts and opinions, but, that is everybody's prerogative in America.
That's all right. He goes with the governor. He goes with the governor perfectly. It's perfect for the governor. Good.
But he is a guy who, when the run game's not working, he can now take over that little Jalen Waddle role, the little BS 4 yards from the line of scrimmage target, so that you can let Jalen actually do something with his time out on the field. So, anybody in that, like I said, the Beasley, Crowder, Berrios type mold, yeah, go ahead. I like Chark. Chark is hurt a lot, though, and, it's one of those situations where the production wasn't always there. He had the one big year a few years ago, but also you look at the quarterback situations in Jacksonville and say, all right, like, how much give are we willing to? How much are we willing to give? I don't know. I like Christian Kirk, depending on the price. I'm not a big into Allen Robinson.
No. 2 years ago, yes.
Actually, I don't think Allen Robinson is a fit at all down here. But if you're going to spend big money, especially because he's going to cost, and if you're going to spend big money on a receiver, go spend big money on a receiver. Like, if you're going to spend that kind of coin, then, bump the offer up a little bit, swallow your pride.
But that's what I like about DJ.
Salary.
This is what I like about DJ. You don't have to break the bank. He can't ask for the bank yet because he never got to that point because of the system and the quarterbacks that he had to play with. So because he can't ask for the bank, I think you might get more of a bargain in the long run with DJ Chark. That's what I like about that signing. That's just me.
Yeah. And then, but not to mention, and then they still have to, but before you even think about Davante Adams, you need to make some signings on that offensive line. Brady coming back, obviously you knew that they were getting either Jensen or Kappa. Kappa obviously just signed with the Bengals, so those options are off the table. Teron Armstead is still an option. It doesn't matter. You need to find a starting right tackle, and if there's a good enough guard on the market, then go right ahead. A name that, and it's a Buffalo tie, and I know we get a lot of them when I do these segments, but Darrell Williams from Buffalo just was released. I want to be very clear. I want to make sure that people are clear here. He was not released because he is a bad player. He was released because they were paying him as a right tackle and had to move him to right guard. He is not a good guard. He's not a guard. The Carolina experience, like Carolina found that out. That's why he left there. But he was a second team All-Pro before tearing his ACL in Carolina at right tackle. He was excellent in 2020. But they drafted Spencer Brown. He's cheaper than Williams, and for that reason, Williams had to go. He is a good option and a cost-effective option at right tackle if need be. So, I think that there are some quote-unquote bargain bin players to choose from, but I think Williams specifically might scare some people off because of the fact that, he was released by the Bills 1 year after signing a 3-year contract extension. but there's a little bit of nuance, there's a little bit of context to that I don't think people are understanding. So if the Dolphins don't want to break the bank for a guy like Armstead, I think, Williams is going to be cost effective. You can get him on a 1-2 year deal, see how it goes, put a kind of a Band-Aid on it in the meantime. But, there are options. There are options at tackle. They need to address the line, though, before they do anything else, in terms of their playmakers. I don't think drafting a lineman is the move. Not in this class, not with this regime, not at the stage that this team is in, where they're at this crossroads between, are we rebuilding and are we contending? When you're a game or so out of the playoffs, that's kind of like the road that you need to face. I think they clearly want themselves to be a playoff contender, not Super Bowl contender. They need to be a playoff contender. So in order to do that, I think that you draft for depth, not necessarily for immediate need at positions like defensive end and positions like offensive line. Those are ones that you need a vet in there. You need a guy that's, right out the gate, he's ready to come play.
I agree. You have to, for me, I think they have to add 2 veteran linemen to this group. They have to. The line is way too young and needs proven leadership on it. You know what I mean? I'm hoping personally Ben Jones is one of those guys, the center for the Titans. That's who, since I can't get Ryan Jensen now, who I wanted, then Ben Jones would be the next guy, because that's what I think. I think Tua needs. Obviously, it'd be great to get a tackle, and especially a left tackle, because I think you can put Eichenberg at right tackle and you'll be fine, and eventually they'll figure it out. But I'd like Ben Jones at center, because I think you need to add immediate veterans to this line to improve the young guys.
Yeah, I agree. But I think that where they're at right now, where they're now that bringing Ogba back was massive. And I think actually the reason why, if I'm on the cusp between a B and an A, I would lean A, is because of what they faced if they lost him. Then you're stepping back. Now you have to replace that. Now you have to go get somebody in the draft, or you have to go, try to maybe sign 2 players where one would have done the trick, or you have to find a way to replace that production. And their ability to do that is I think solidifies the A. But now that he's signed, they got a good playmaker in Edmonds who can probably line up in the slot if he needs to, lines up in the backfield, catches passes, runs. He can do a little bit of everything. It really put them in a position to go BPA with nearly every pick, man. I don't think there's like a gun to your head position that they have to take at 29, that they have to take in the second round. I think you have a number of moves that you can make. You have another number of positions that you can address. Linebacker, obviously they need depth there. They still need receiver help. So, good receiver at 29. Tre'Lon Burks for some reason is available. If Jameson Williams is available, you sprint to the podium. But like you could take BPA. And I just said on Twitter, I love Chase Edmonds, man. If Kenneth Walker or Breece Hall is available on day 2, it's not stopping me from taking either one. I'm not, especially Hall, because I love the fact that, Walker might be able to catch passes, might be able to run block or to pass block, but we know that Breece Hall is effective as a receiver. So when he's on the field, defenses, you still don't necessarily know what they're going to do. They could run the same kind of plays. They could run the same kind of schemes as they would if Chase Edmonds was on the field. It adds to that kind of versatility, man. You don't want defense to be able to just key on you and know, okay, blah, blah, blah is in the game. They're either run between the tackles or he's pass blocking. He's not much of a threat anywhere else. So, it's not stopping me from going running back on day 2, but I just love that they have the ability to go BPA, whatever pick whatever pick we're at.
Well, so that will be how they get the edge in your eyes, right? Is that what you're saying?
That will be how they get the edge. They already set the edge with Emmanuel Ogba. Mm-hmm. They got a running back who can get to the edge in Chase Edmonds. Mm-hmm. And, they can now just go BPA to give them an edge over whoever their opponents are moving forward. No, look, I am impressed as I could be by these first 2 moves. So I just wanted to be clear that, the Edmund signing is just like, wow, that is a big get. That is a big get.
Yeah. As a fantasy player, I've always liked that kid the last couple of years, and he's kind of always been an under the radar guy. A lot of people don't know. And I think Miami Dolphin fans are going to get to are going to get a feel for this kid, and they're going to see he's going to give them a little bit of an edge there, back there, because he can pass catch, he can run the ball, he can block too. By the way, he's really a complete back. Actually, that's what I like about Chase, that he gives you that edge, that he's a complete back.
Yeah, 5'9", only 5'9", but solid 200, 205, I believe. Like, it's not a small guy, man.
No.
Like, he can. And again, what I'm most excited about in terms, if I'm a Dolphins fan, what I'm most excited about for Edmonds is the fact that, like, yeah, maybe he hasn't been the feature guy, but he has so much tread on his tires, man. Like, he is only 300 carries in 4 years. He's still only 25. Like, there's running backs coming out of college that are only like a year or so younger than him. Like, it's not like he's he's a vet without the vet age, without the vet wear on his body. So I think they're going to get. I'm excited to see what this offense can do with him. I'm excited to see how they scheme for him. I don't want to start talking, saying this is their Deebo Samuel, because these are not the same caliber of players. But I am curious if they use him in the same way, and that they use him as a pass catcher. They line him up at receiver and they line him up at running back as well. Because I don't know if, he's bigger than he might have the same kind of like skill set, give or take, as far as like a pass catching back as Myles Gaskin does, but he's bigger and a better runner. So he's like a more effective. He's what you want Gaskin to be. And he's bigger than Jalen Waddle, who everybody pegged for the Deebo Samuel role. You're not lining up 170-pound Jalen Waddle in the backfield, man.
No.
You're going to get the boy killed. So, no, this gives him more of that kind of diverse. This gives them more of that, versatile chess piece type of player than anybody else they have currently on roster.
Make sure you follow him on Twitter at Marcel_LJ. Catch his work there at ESPN. You can catch him here twice a week, giving you the edge as a Dolphin fans with the information. He is Marcel Louis-Jacques. Marcel, we will catch you later in the week, my friend. Thank you.
For sure. I'm diving back into my phone, man. I'll catch y'all later.
Work it, baby. Marcel Louis-Jacques, you now have the edge.
You now have the edge on the Miami Dolphins with the Edge Energy Drink Miami Dolphins Report featuring ESPN's Marcel Louis-Jacques. Get the energy drink that's delicious and smooth with zero aftertaste. You can only order Edge Energy Drink at myedgedrink.com. That's myedgedrink.com.
Hey, DJ Lloyd 61 says, Big O, the only reason I can't give the A yet, Ogba keeps the defense good. He doesn't improve it. So I have to stick with a B. So, DJ Lloyd, let's have a little fun here. I went to the sacks in 2019. You know who led the way? Taco Charlton with 5. Ogba has 9. Vince Beagle had 2.5. Egwavon had 3.5. Devon Godchow had 2. So how's 9 sacks and all the batted passes, how does that not make you better, and how is that not an A? DJ Lloyd, you've been hanging around Joe Shad too long. That's what's going on. So let's go back to 2018. Let's go back to the 2 years prior to Ogba. Cameron Wake was 6 sacks. And I'm sure he didn't have the amount of batted passes that this guy has, or 9. And Robert Quinn had 6.5. Not 9. So how does Ogba not make the team better? How is it not an A when nobody on the Miami Dolphins for the last few years can do what Ogba does? So now we go to 2017. Cameron Wake, finally, 10.5 sacks. There. You have to go back 5 years to get somebody that's done better than Ogba. And still, Cam Wake was not an every down player at that time. He was mostly a situational pass rusher. So he didn't play nearly as much as Ogba. So even I would argue that Cam Wake's 10.5 sack season is not better than Agba's last year, his 9 sack season, and all the batted passes. And he's actually better than Cam against the run. So you tell me, DJ Lloyd, how is it not an A+? How is it that he not makes the defense? So if he would have left, how much worse would they be? Man, Agba had 24 QB hits. Thank you, John. So I don't know, man. I don't know how you don't give that an A. I'm sorry. He's been a hell of a find. He was a steal for 2 years. You're finally paying him what he deserves. You're stealing money the last 2 years by having him. Re-signing Agba is an A++, dude. It's freaking awesome to have Emmanuel Agba back. Okay? That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Jay, thank you for the love on the Cash App. He says for the Dolphins, baby. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you, Jay. Thank you for giving us some love here on the Cash App. Very nice of you, sir. Let me see what we got here. If we got anything on Venmo. Let me make sure here before we check anything else. Okay. Nothing on Venmo. Thank you all out there. As always. What else do we have? Uh-oh. Wait a minute. Is there some Pearl Jam news here? Pearl Jam North American Tour. Okay. 2022. I guess we'll be seeing Pearl Jam in 2022. I love it. Somebody put that substitute teacher Joe is never a glass half full guy. He's always a sour bee. I just don't understand how it's not a great signing. I don't understand how Dolphin fans aren't freaking loving life that we got Agba back. Like, that would have been a monster loss. And I don't know if they replace him. Well, so we will see. All right. We thank Ira Winderman, Alan Poupart, Joe Shad, and Marcel Louis Jacques for joining us as always. We thank Sean Stanley mastering this program, driving it. Appreciate him as always. I do also, oh, by the way, I'd be remiss if I did not mention, rest in peace, William Hurt, actor, passed away over the weekend at the age of 71. Broadcast News is one of those. Kiss of a Spider Woman, Body Heat, all that stuff. William Hurt, hell of an actor. And on a let's say positive note or funny note, I thought Zoe Kravitz on SNL was awesome. Okay. The wordplay game, the whole game, that was freaking hilarious. Okay. Just a couple of good segments this weekend on SNL. Couple little notes that I wanted to mention that I forgot to mention. So thank you all out there as always for supporting us like you do every single day. Tomorrow we are locked and loaded. I mean, it is a crazy ass show tomorrow. Tomorrow we're going to have Cameron Wolf, Manny Navarro, Omar Kelly, George Richards. We're going to be rocking and rolling, man. We are loaded for tomorrow on the program. We will see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel. Have a good one. Love you all.